Good afternoon. We are bringing you commentary today from the Premier League of Newcastle United against Arsenal. I'm alternative host Russ Svenning, and we are joined by your commentary team of Mike Harniman and Jack Cunningham. Hopefully, you're both doing okay. Now, fetching the summariser for the first half because they're switching roles, and that is Jack Cunningham. And Jack, are you looking forward to this one this afternoon, mate?
Yeah, I mean, they just brought up Newcastle's record against Arsenal in recent sort of years, and it's absolutely appalling. It's one win in 17. So, but looking at the Arsenal team, they've made 8 changes. It's all about the Europa League for them. We're in decent form. We're unbeaten in 4. I don't know. I mean, I feel that if we're gonna beat Arsenal, it's gonna be this afternoon. If not, we're probably never gonna beat Arsenal again. So with the likes of Wilson back in the team, St Maximan playing as well as he has been, yeah. I mean, I think it should be a good game. Both teams are terrible defensively, so it should be goals in it at least.
Yes, Les, there should be goals in it as well. I bet Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang returns to the starting lineup for the first time since April the 3rd after battling malaria, and he's one of the 8 changes, as you mentioned, with only Xhaka, Ceballos and Odegaard keeping their place in the starting lineup. As a Newcastle fan for your sins, are you a bit not happy with the news that Aubameyang started, especially him having some good form against Newcastle in recent years?
Yeah, so Birmingham's got 5 goals in 7 against Newcastle before this. He got 2 in the 3-0 win at the Emirates earlier this season. But I haven't been that impressed with Aubameyang this season, to be honest, since he signed that new contract. 9 goals, I think, in the league. It's not that good for how good he has been. So, and he's just come back from malaria. So, how fit is he going to be? So, I'm actually not that bothered about him starting. Really, now I've said that, he'll probably score a hat trick. But.
Yeah, like I say, he'll probably score an hat-trick. Now you have said that one today. I'm going to fetch you now, commentating now, because the players are just making their way out onto the field. And Mike, from an Arsenal's perspective, then, how big a boost is it that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang starts this afternoon?
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. I think that I have to agree with Jack that he's been, out of form this season since signing the contract. And if I had the choice and fully fit Lacazette to pick, I would have picked Lacazette over him. But of course, Lacazette's unavailable at the moment, and sort of touch and go before Thursday's second leg. But yeah, Aubameyang through the middle. He is clinical when he wants to be, and hopefully that's today. Hopefully he can carry on the form that he's got against Newcastle in recent games. Scoring the 5 and 7 there, as Jack mentioned, and he didn't just score in the league fixture; he also scored in the FA Cup fixture as well, getting the sort of clinching goal in that one, the second goal in that one in the extra time. So he has got form against Newcastle. Not just in the last couple of seasons, but this season as well. He's got 3 goals in 2 against them this year already.
Yes, he has indeed. And Mike, David Luiz starts and features for the first time since a 3-3 draw with West Ham in March. What do you make to that news? Do you think he should have played today, or would you have rested him a bit longer?
I think David Luiz is certainly very experienced. It depends on the David Luiz that we see. I think the David Luiz, from back years ago when he was sort of at Chelsea and even a little bit before that, might be, sort of a boost for Arsenal. Of course, they've got the Brazilian Gabriel alongside him as well. So there's that partnership there with the 2 countrymen. But David Luiz is prone to making a mistake or, making a rash challenge as well. And that's something that he can't afford to do when he's up against, the sort of strikers that Newcastle will have. They've got some very good front men in, St Maximan and also Wilson as well. And then the likes of Almiron and Shelby coming in from midfield. So just have to wait and see how David Luiz can handle those guys from Newcastle there. And yeah, I'm not too sure. It's going to be, it's hard one to tell with David Luiz how fit he is as well. And to see, hopefully, that he doesn't make any stupid mistakes, because obviously Matt Ryan is quite inexperienced in goal as well. Inexperienced playing for Arsenal anyway.
He is indeed, Mike, as you say, he is indeed. With the players almost ready for kick-off, and they are getting ready for action and about to take the knee before we get underway to stamp out racism, and there is no room for racism in any form of life, including football or any place in society as well. We're going to hand over to your match commentators now. It's Jack Cunningham, and for the first half, your main commentator, Mike Harniman. Mike.
Cheers, thanks, Russ. So I will run you through the lineups as well. We'll start with Arsenal. The visitors in goal, Matt Ryan. Then the back line is Bellerin, David Luiz, Gabriel, and Granit Xhaka. Continuing at left back to fill in for the injured Kieran Tierney. Then Mohamed El Neni, the Egyptian, alongside Dani Ceballos in midfield. And then the front men of Willian, Odegaard, and Martinelli playing off of Aubameyang with Leno, Saka, Cedric, Partey, Pepe, Chambers, Mari, Nketiah, and Smith Rowe on the bench. And of course, in the FA Cup, it was Smith Rowe. It was kind of quite a big talking point in that. He got himself sent off, and it was overruled by VAR, and then he popped up with Arsenal's first goal. And as for Newcastle, it's Dubravka, Fernandez, Clark, Dummett, Murphy, Ritchie, Almiron, Longstaff. So that's Sean Longstaff, Shelby, St Maximin, and Wilson. The game's just got underway as well. Quickly run you through the bench. You've got Matty Longstaff, Shah, Jolinton, Gale, Lewis, Hendrick, Kraft, Gillespie, and Elliot Anderson as well. So first of all, Jack, tell us a little bit about Elliot Anderson. Do you know much about him?
Yeah, Elliot Anderson, they see him as the best thing out of the academy, arguably since Andy Carroll. That's how they... Not obviously, he's more talented than Carroll, but in terms of how they see his career going, Bruce speaks very highly of him. Everyone speaks very highly of him. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He made his Premier League debut, actually, against Arsenal, and his first team debut against Arsenal as well. I don't know if you remember. In the FA Cup, he nearly scored. Yeah. He hit a shot, and it ended up with Carroll, who put it wide from about 4 yards out, which was an awful miss. But yeah, they think he's going to be really, really good. And I've been disappointed he hasn't been given much of a chance as of yet. I mean, I feel that with us, Newcastle now essentially safe, 9 points clear, Fulham running out of games rapidly. I would like to see him given a start, maybe. But with this formation that we've come across now, this 3-5-2 rather than a 5 at the back, we're unbeaten in 4. Although our key man, Willock, is obviously not allowed to play because he's on loan from Arsenal.
Absolutely, yeah. And Willock was great as well in the last few games. I think he scored, is it 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, something like that in the last few games?
He's the second top goal scorer for Newcastle this season, joint second with Miguel Almiron. And he's got 4 goals, and 3 of them are in the last 3 games that he's played in,
Yeah, so he's been very good for Newcastle, and it's currently Arsenal in possession with Ceballos. He's knocked it out to Xhaka now as well, and then back to Dani Ceballos again, the man who, of course, can't play on Thursday because of the red card he got in the Villarreal game, and of course that's probably one of the main reasons why Mikel Arteta has decided to keep him in for this game, because obviously he can't play on the second leg. Here's Odegaard now out to Willian, and Hector Bellerin as well, just kind of intricate passing between the pair of them. And it's David Luiz now just plays it across to his centre-back partner and countryman as well, Gabriel. And of course, you know, David Luiz has come in, Russ mentioned it there, and from a Newcastle perspective, you know, I'm sure you're going to want to get at David Luiz. Just hang tight though, because Gabriel's going to whip one in there towards Aubameyang, and it's gone straight through to Martin Dubravka. But you know, you're going to want your likes of St Maximin and Callum Wilson just to run at David Luiz, aren't you?
Yeah, that whole back 4, to be honest. I mean, Granit Xhaka has actually done quite well at left back in the games I've seen. But Jacob Murphy's in really good form at the moment. He's quick, he's direct, he gets on the ball, he runs at you. So I want to see him take on Granit Xhaka at some point. And then obviously it's all about getting the ball to St Maximin, because he can take on 3-4 men on his own. And then you've got the likes of Wilson, who's very quick as well, leads the line, always playing on the edge. 10 goals this season for Callum Wilson. It's been an excellent signing for Newcastle. So, yeah, I mean, the back 4 for Arsenal, I feel that we can get at, but we need to get the ball in the dangerous areas to do that.
Okay, so throw in here for Newcastle now. That was Ritchie. It's just about to take it. He was going to take it quickly, but he's going to go back and take it now. He's just going to throw it in to Almiron in midfield and back to Ritchie again. He's going to try and play it long, and David Luiz just sees it out of play for a throw-in. The officials today, if I can just grab that information as well, which let's have a look here now. I think it was, where's my information sheet? It's Mike Dean, the referee, anyway.
Yeah, Mike Dean's the ref, yeah.
Just get my information here. Got too many notes. I wrote all of these out last night, and it's hard to find out what's what. So, yeah, the officials, Mike Dean is the ref, then assistants Ian Hussein and Dan Robatton. And then Andy Madley's on fourth official duty. VAR is Chris Kavanagh, and then Matthew Wilkes is the assistant VAR. And I've got to go back to the team sheet again. As Gabriel brings out a defence, and he's going to play it out here to, is that Granit Xhaka? No, so it's Martinelli, in fact. It's Hector Bellerin now. Here's Gabriel. What's Gabriel going to do? Gabriel's going to have a shot, and it's a good block there as well from the Newcastle defender. I think that was actually, was that Fernandez?
Longstaff, that, yeah.
It was Longstaff.
Longstaff with the block, yeah.
It was a good block as well, done very well there. It's now out to Willian and Martin Odegaard, and it's now into El Neni, who's currently in for Thomas Partey, and then it's given away there, and it's just tidied up by Newcastle and all the way back through to Matt Ryan. And who's been the better for you in the opening sort of, coming up for 5 minutes? It's quite
scrappy start of the game. Arsenal have mauled the ball, as you'd sort of expect.
It's Hector Bellerin's just in behind there. Hold on a sec. Into Aubameyang, and it's shot at by El Neni, and it's in the back of the net. Mohamed El Neni for Arsenal, the Egyptian. 5 minutes on the clock, and Mohamed El Neni, I think that's his 7th goal for Arsenal as well. He scored one in the Europa League not that long ago, and good finish there for Arsenal. Great start as well. Keeper maybe should have done a little bit better, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Dubravka gets his hand to it, but I mean, it's a great strike by El Neni. I mean, you don't expect him to come up with that, but it's a great goal for Arsenal. I think that's his first goal in the Premier League this season. It's a lovely ball in behind by David Luiz. Bellerin does everything right. Newcastle do not deal with it properly at all. No one gets out to El Neni quick enough. Dubravka's a bit unsighted. I'm not going to blame Dubravka for that. I mean, he saves us enough times as it is, so I'm not really going to blame him for that one.
And of course, that's Mohamed El Neni kind of just saying to Nico Arteta, well, Ceballos is out on Thursday night, put me in, and 5 minutes on the clock, he's got himself a goal. He's not done himself any harm whatsoever there.
Nope, definitely not. With Ceballos, as you say, with Ceballos banned. For that huge game on Thursday, I mean, that's the perfect start for Arsenal. Newcastle do not want that because, well, they rarely win when they fall behind or even get points. So, bad start for Newcastle, perfect start for Arsenal.
There's a foul there on the Arsenal man. I think it might have been Willian. Let's have a look. Just Mohamed Ali just focusing on at the moment, but I think it was Willian that was fouled. And Arsenal have a free kick in quite a dangerous area again. And trying to get everybody forward. Of course, Aubameyang is going to be in there as well, no doubt. David Luiz going up from the back. Also Gabriel as well. Mohamed El Neni looks like he's the furthest forward. He wants to get a second straight away. And it's Willian over the free kick. And Willian's going to whip it in now. And it's all the way through to Dubravka, who comes up and just claims that nice and easily, really. And that's going to do a little bit more confidence, a bit of a confidence boost for the goalkeeper there as well. And what were you going to say there about El Neni?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's got that goal, hasn't he? So he'll be keen to confidence probably flowing through his veins. But that was a poor ball by Willian. Really, give none of his teammates any chance at all. It was in the air for so long. Dubravka just came up, grabbed it unchallenged, and Willian's been pretty disappointing, hasn't he, since he signed for Arsenal? So
yeah, most definitely. It's one of those signings that a lot of Arsenal fans have said it's quite a panic buy, and a lot of people would agree with that. As St. Maximin, that's good feet there from St. Maximin, and it's whipped in by, was that Richie, and it straight towards the couple of on-running players there, but Matt Ryan done well there to claim it. But that was good feet from St. Maximin, very tricky there, and some good direct running from the Frenchman.
That's what he's about, isn't he? I mean, he just gets the ball. It's like glued to his feet sometimes. That's a good ball in by Richie as well. He's hit it really hard, but good goalkeeping by Matt Ryan.
And of course, Matt Ryan in to replace Bert Leno, who's on the bench today as well. And that the fact that Arsenal made 8 changes, it certainly shows that Mikel Arteta sees this as the lesser of the competitions. And well, there's no route for Arsenal through the league positions into the Champions League, is there? And even getting into the Europa League through league positions is very, very unlikely. I think if Arsenal win this game, they move up to 9th position in the table, and that's still, compared to where Arsenal were years ago, that's still a massive downfall and a big drop.
It's a sad state of affairs for both clubs. It's 17th versus 11th as it started this game. I mean, think back, not even that long ago, Newcastle and Arsenal were the top 3. I know Arsenal have obviously been at the top a lot longer than Newcastle, but they are 2 massive, massive clubs in English football, and for one reason or another, they're in a sad state of decline, really, and it'd be nice to see both of them come back to the level that we once knew them at.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course the two legends of both clubs have been introduced into the Premier League Hall of Fame as well. Thierry Henry and of course Newcastle's Alan Shearer. They're one of the first two that have gone in, and they're the kind of players that when you think of these two clubs, kind of stick in your mind.
Don't think you'll have any argument with them two. I can't believe there was people who were actually arguing with both of them. People who were saying that Shearer shouldn't be, and he's literally the Premier League's top goal scorer. Don't know how he can't be included.
Yeah.
And Henry.
It's all right, Bob.
No, it's all right. Carry on.
No, it's just there's an opportunity there trying to get Martinelli in, but it was put behind by Murphy in the end just for a throw in. So just while we're on this, Ryan, just finish off what you were saying there.
Yeah, Henry. I mean, he's probably the best player in the Premier League, to be honest. I've ever seen anyway.
It's certainly up there, and of course, Arsenal fans, kind of hoping that there's the deal with the Spotify. Daniel Wacken has a opportunity here now. It's going to be a shot by Bellerin, and it's just absolutely wayward there, and not going to trouble the Bravka at all. But if Daniel Wack was to kind of come in and take over Arsenal, if Kroenke did decide to sell, that's a deal that would include the likes of Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, and former captain Patrick Vieira as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's something, it's something that people want to see, isn't it? They want to see club legends involved in their club, at least in ambassadorial roles. So if it does happen, it'd be a PR win straight away. It's
very unlikely that Kroenke is going to sell, though. I know, it's unfortunate from an Arsenal fan's perspective. Of course, we want him gone. I've been a big advocate of wanting him gone for a number of years, but he's 100% involved in the club in terms of the money that he's put in. He might not be 100% in terms of actually showing interest in English football, but you kind of can't force him out when he's got that much. He's got full ownership. So protest and everything alike, fans can protest all they want, but if they're not going to listen, they're not going to listen.
Yeah, I mean, he already said, didn't he, come out and said that Arsenal's not for sale no matter what, but I guess that from an Arsenal fan's point of view, you want to see him put his money where his mouth is now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the summer as well, because even if Arsenal do go on and get through to the Europa League final and looks like being Manchester United, who are through, not through, but all but through, I should say, on the back of that 6-2 and an all English final. But if Arsenal do go on and win that, they're still going to want to invest, and they still need to invest a lot as well. A lot of players have left in either the January window or the players that are out on loan that will probably come back and then be sold as well. And it's hopefully going to be a bit more to add to the transfer kitty for Mikel Arteta. But just have to wait and see what happens with that one. And Newcastle themselves as well. Of course, if Newcastle do end up getting taken over, it could be a big season, a big summer for Newcastle as well.
It could be, but I mean, the priority is continually improving, really, and I don't know if it's going to happen this takeover, so I'd rather not talk about it that much, to be honest.
Fair enough. Very quite a wise way of looking at it. Here's the Swiss international Granit Xhaka now back to El Neni in midfield and out to Hector Bellerin. Of course, Hector Bellerin has played quite a lot of Europa League games lately, apart from obviously the last one and when Callum Chambers has come in. But Bellerin's kind of a bit out of favour. I'm not too sure why that is, but I don't think there's that many Arsenal fans that are that bothered about the fact that Bellerin's not really playing too many league games, especially with Willian there. So there's a lot of Arsenal fans that are not too keen on those two as a partnership down that right side. But on his day, Bellerin can be pretty good going forward. It's just the defensive side that's a little bit lacking sometimes. As Aubameyang's in there, there's a good ball back from Martinelli, and Aubameyang, he looked quite sharp there for somebody that's been out of the team for a while. So that's good movement from the Gabon man, and it's a good opportunity there from Martinelli as well. A lot of Arsenal fans wanted Martinelli to be involved, not just in this game, but for a number of games, and you can see why. Yeah,
it was great skill by Martinelli there, because Murphy's pretty quick as well, so to show him a clean set of heels, pretty impressive. Aubameyang getting in front of his man, as you expect. Pretty poor defending by Newcastle again, very static.
Just Maximin there has been shoved to the floor by Gabriel, another one that's in today. And I really like that. I really like Gabriel. The first few games when he was playing for Arsenal, he has made a few mistakes, in more recent games. But I think Gabriel started off very, very well, and they've kind of gone off the boil a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough though coming over in the middle of a pandemic. He'd only really had that one breakthrough season with Lille, and he's still young. He's got all the physical attributes to make it in the Premier League, so it'll be interesting to see how he does next season.
It's a chance here for Newcastle now. It's Callum Wilson. Going to knock it into St Maximin, and he's going to play it out to the right-hand side. That's Murphy going to try and whip it in, and it's too high and too long as well. And out of play for what is a Arsenal goal kick. It's currently Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1. Mohamed Elneny's goal after about 5 minutes. The Egyptian scoring from just outside the area, and it's been an interesting game. Newcastle are trying to get back into it, but Arsenal are defending pretty well, really, so far, on the back of trying to hold on to this 1-goal lead.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle just not really laid a glove on Arsenal as of yet. That was better approach play before, but the cross was absolutely dreadful from Murphy, to be honest.
And it's just a chance here for Danny Ceballos now to knock it back to Elneny. Of course, Arsenal have struggled in recent games, but Newcastle have done a lot better. They're unbeaten in the last 4. And Arsenal, of course, lost to Villarreal, lost to Everton as well. Only just about managed to nick a point against Fulham with the last gasp equaliser. And it's if Arsenal can go into Villarreal at home, the second leg with a little bit of confidence on the back of a win, it's going to be much needed because in terms of the last 3 or 4 fixtures before that, apart from the Slavia Prague 4-0, it's been really poor from an Arsenal perspective.
Yeah, definitely. Arsenal started this game really well.
Oh, it's just Willian there trying to find Martinelli and gone through to Dubravka. It looked like Martinelli was actually kind of playing as a second striker there for a second, but he's dropped back out to midfield now.
He's probably always going to do that drift in off the left, isn't he? But it was good approach play by Arsenal. Just a bit of miscommunication.
It's just with John Joe Shelby now. He's got the ball from, I think that was Fernandez, I think. He's got Shelby's got it back as well. He's going to go, what's he going to do here? He goes to St Maximin in midfield. He's kind of had to drop back a bit, St Maximin now, but he's done really, really well, in fact, to take it round. And then he's good play there from Mohamed Elneny, doing his defensive duties as well as his attacking duties there, the Egyptian. And so far, I think Elneny's probably, look, one of the brightest sparks, not just for Arsenal, but in the game as a whole.
Yeah, he's been a standout player. That was a really good interception there because St Maximin's pulled it into an area. Sean Longstaff's waiting for the pullback, and it's good defending by Elneny.
It's now with that was John Joe Shelby just involved there, but it was in fact it wasn't Shelby, was it? It was actually Dummett, I think, trying to look for Shelby. It's now out with Murphy and into St Maximin, and St Maximin just gives it onto one of the defenders, onto Shelby now. Now Murphy is Alain St Maximin again. What's he going to do? He gets it to Jacob Murphy now, and then Newcastle just playing a little bit of possession football, which I suppose they might really need actually. Is Almiron now, and that was I think that was Fernandez just up there as well. But it's now with Shelby, and now it goes to Dummett and then Ritchie now. That's Dummett again, is it? In fact, no, it's with that wasn't Dummett, was it? I think it was one of the midfielders. I couldn't quite see. It's hard to tell with his Newcastle shirts on.
Yeah, the shirt's on great. Like, I've got to be honest.
It's John Joe Shelby just knocks it back to, I think that was Fernandez that time, and it's going to play it long onto Ritchie now. And what's the Scotsman going to do here? Is he going to be able to pick out a teammate, gives it to St Maximin on the edge of the box? Good feet by St Maximin, and then he gets a decent effort there. Didn't hit it cleanly, but it still troubled Matt Ryan in the Arsenal goal, and was quite a good save actually from Matt Ryan there. It was good play from Newcastle, and then St Maximin does well, beats his man. It was Danny Ceballos, and then tries to get it out of his feet. He couldn't. I think he got a little bit mixed up there with his 2 feet, and then he tried to get it over Matt Ryan, and that was a good save from the on-loan Brighton goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a good save because that's such a weird shot. It could have easily caught him out, but I think Ritchie made the wrong choice. Almiron was in acres of space in the middle of the box, and all he had to do was roll into his feet, and he's got a one-on-one opportunity. But
And
in the
this
end,
corner comes in and Matt Ryan gets it clear, and it's now with I think that's Danny Ceballos just knocks it on to Aubameyang and Gabriel, who just kind of hooks it clear, looking for Martin Odegaard, who's the furthest forward, and it's just a bit of head tennis really at the moment in the midfield, and John Joe Shelby gives it back to, I think that was Clark, and then back to Dubravka that time.
Yeah, a bit more possession for Newcastle in the last few minutes, getting into the game a bit more.
That's Callum Wilson now. It's to St Maximin again, and it's what's he going to be able to do with this one? He's going to try and take it round Granit Xhaka, and he was certainly bundled over there as well. And referee Mike Dean says that's a free kick, and it's quite a simple free kick to give as well, and a yellow card as well, first yellow of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's straight away a problem for Granit Xhaka now, playing in that left-back role. He's going to have to be careful. But, I mean, that's what people do to St Maximin. They target him, and that's his third. I think he's been fouled 3 times already in this game. Liverpool fouled him about 6 times last week. So, you know, at least Mike Dean's protecting him, because I certainly think sometimes referees don't protect him enough.
That's his 7th booking as well, the Swiss international there, Granit Xhaka, the former Arsenal captain. Of course, everyone remembers why he was stripped of his armband as well, because of the incident with Crystal Palace and a couple of other incidences that he's been involved in as well, was Granit Xhaka there. But it's he's still a leader. He still kind of tends to lead the rest of the group as much as he can. It's whipped in and now. It's a good header by David Luiz, and there was Odegaard just trying to get it clear as well, but there wasn't offside in there. But Granit Xhaka, yeah, he might have been stripped of the captain's armband, but he's come back, and he's come back pretty well, really, in large parts, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a player who's, he looked like his career was done, wasn't it? He was being linked with moves back to the Bundesliga, La Liga, but Arteta's come in and given him an important role again. He's more of a captain without the armband, isn't he, at this point now? You can always see him shouting and leading by example, I guess.
Absolutely, and I think Mikel Arteta, I think he took him under his wing a little bit. The fact that Mikel Arteta was captain, Mikel Arteta played the same position as him as well, and Mikel Arteta wasn't an emergency left back when needed, but in central mid, they were of course very similar kind of players, and Mikel Arteta, I'm sure, would have taken him under his wing a little bit and kind of just said, if you kind of just stick to your game and do what you can do, then we're more than. We're more than happy to keep you at the club and keep you involved on the pitch. He's still very, very vocal without the armband, as you said. Yeah. Here's Gabriel now on to David Luiz. Almost halfway through the first half. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1. Mohamed El-Neni scoring after 5 minutes. And Arsenal just playing it around quite simple at the moment, really, in terms of the passes. Gabriel to Luiz, and then Luiz back to Gabriel again, and Gabriel is going to look up, and then he goes back to his countryman, who's going to kind of be caught there a little bit out of position, because he's not really a right back, but he was over on the right wing back position for a second there, and Almiron done well just to kind of nick the ball off him and put it out for a throw, which Hector Bellerin is going to take.
Yeah, that's what Almiron's so good at, winning the ball high up the field, works so hard for Newcastle. Maybe doesn't have the end product that maybe other people appreciate, but Newcastle fans really appreciate that hard work and effort that he puts in, and always feel that if he plays in his actual position, he can deliver the goals and assists as well.
For sure, yeah, he's a very good player. I've always rated Almiron. I've always liked him as a player. I think that, I think there's a couple of very good Newcastle players that could cause Arsenal problems in the remaining part of the, of this game. And it's not just him, but there's Longstaff, Shelby, St Maximin, Wilson, and then of course the 2 fullbacks as well. Really, that if they're coming up against the likes of Willian and Bellerin, then you've got to be careful, because those 2 guys, especially Willian, he might be okay, going forward sometimes, but he's not really known for his defending.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why I think this season's been so disappointing for Newcastle, because everyone seems to make out as if this squad's really bad, but it really isn't. It's just underachieved massively, and that's because of Steve Bruce's management, in my opinion. So I think no matter what happens this season, 17th, 16th, it's just not good enough. This squad's better than that, and I hate the narrative that this squad is actually a bad squad, because it really isn't.
No, I think there's some really good players in there. Even if you look at some of the players that aren't involved today, like the captain Jamal Lascelles, a player that I've seen live a couple of times, and I've always rated him when he was on loan here in Stevenage, where I'm from. He was on loan from Nottingham Forest, and I knew he'd go on and really go on and sort of be a fantastic player. I always thought he'd be good enough to play Premier League, and I didn't expect him to go on and maybe captain Newcastle, but he's certainly been a good player for them anyway. Player that I liked when he was playing at Broadway Way, or the Lamek Stadium as it's called now.
Yeah, certainly under Rafa Benitez, he was potentially England material, but he's regressed under Bruce, but he's still a great leader, and we'll miss him whenever he's not playing.
There's a chance here for Newcastle now. It's Almiron. Just get it from Matt Ritchie now. And he's kind of giving that one away to Odegaard there. Kind of let that one get away from him, and it's now with David Luiz on to Matt Ryan, who's going to just knock it on to Gabriel. And Gabriel, what's he going to do there? He's going to just play it out to Granit Xhaka and into Aubameyang, and gets it back to Xhaka again, and it's now out with Danny Ceballos trying to find the run of Martinelli, and it's kind of just put behind. I think it came off of Murphy in the end, or was it in fact?
Yeah, it was a combination of Murphy and Sean Longstaff, I think.
Yeah. I'm just looking here now in regards to Callum Wilson, and he's certainly a fantastic player. Will he make it, through to the Euros? No, he probably won't. Or, I'd be very surprised if he did. But he's still, coming in from Bournemouth as well, a club that got relegated. Even when he was at Bournemouth, he was, showing signs of what he could do. But when he's been snapped up by Newcastle, he's been one of the brightest parts of Newcastle's season, as much as it's been quite poor in other patches.
Yeah, he's got 51 Premier League goals in 151 games, which is literally a 1 in 3 record, which is absolutely fantastic, really, when you think about it. And he's just been so good, to be honest, for us this season. He's absolutely saved us. He's missed 9 games all season, and we've lost every single one. So, it shows you how... No, not lost every single one. Haven't won either of them, so any of them. So, it shows you how important he's been.
Absolutely. And there was a foul there on Almiron. I think that was El Neni just went into him, was it? Indeed it was.
Yeah.
The Egyptian.
Hands to the face.
He's got to be very careful they're doing that, yeah, especially with the way that the rules are these days, and it's certainly very dangerous play, yeah.
I can't believe VAR haven't even looked at it.
There's a foul, so there's an opportunity here for Newcastle now. It's St. Maximin. What's he going to do with this one? He's going to knock it back onto Almiron, and St. Maximin again. What's he going to do now? He's going to try and take it past Willian, is he? In fact, he's gone on the other side, and he's done very well to get the ball across, and Hector Bellerin got it clear, and then Gabriel Martinelli just kind of slices it really out for a throw-in on the other side.
Yeah, Newcastle growing in this game now. Arsenal getting deeper and deeper, and St. Maximin's causing all sorts of problems, as you would expect. But there's definitely something in this for Newcastle, but I think there's more goals in it for Arsenal as well. Should be an interesting game as it goes on.
I do think there's going to be a couple of... I do think Newcastle will score as well in this game. I know that, if you look at the changes Arsenal have made, it's kind of going to be quite difficult for them to remain settled all the way through. And of course, with the likes of Granit Xhaka now on a yellow as well, it might get targeted a bit more. Here's Martinelli now onto Ceballos. Here's Martin Odegaard. So the on loan Real Madrid man is going to play it out, trying to find Martinelli there, but that was good defending. And it's all the way back to Ceballos, who just switches it across to Willian on this other flank now, the right flank, and onto Hector Bellerin on the overlap, and he's going to try and get the cross in, and he's able to keep it in there as well. That was Matt Ritchie, I think. It's now Odegaard. What's Granit Xhaka going to do? Granit Xhaka has an effort. That was a great save as well from Dubravka. That was certainly troubling the goalkeeper, and he got a very strong hand on that one. And if Dubravka, let's have a look at this angle. It's a great effort. Yeah, Dubravka done very well to get a strong hand on that and put it behind. Yeah,
cracking whip and bend on that strike. He scored against Newcastle here in 2018-19 season.
Yeah, I think he had to make that save as well, because I do think that was nested into the back of the net otherwise.
Definitely.
So corner now for Arsenal. I think it's Willian over it. The of course, Granit Xhaka can hit them as well. He certainly scored a few. Most of his goals have been long-range efforts. Willian on to El Neni. I think that. So in fact, it wasn't. It was Gabriel, and it's off the line by Almiron there. In fact, it might even
have been El Neni again.
Yeah, El Neni's been
it was El Neni again.
The focal point of everything for Arsenal so far. He's in a lot of space there as well. Here's Martinelli now, and Martinelli's going to try and whip it, but he whips it round the post as well. And, as I said before, probably about 10, 15 minutes ago, El Neni has really been involved in this game. He's got a goal. He could have had a second one there as well, off the line, of course. And, he's done his defensive duties very well so far as well.
Almiron there coming back. He wasn't even on the line initially, so that's just great awareness to come back. Otherwise, it's 2-0. I mean, wasn't the cleanest of headers by El Neni, but he was totally free.
There's Gabriel now for Arsenal. Here's Dani Ceballos. And what's he going to do there? He's going to try and find Martinelli. He's going to just see who's got on the overlap. He might go alone though, but he goes and finds Aubameyang on the left flank and into Martinelli there, and it's good defending, but only as far as Ceballos and El Neni again. Now Ceballos, was he caught there as well? The referee says no, he wasn't, even though he's remained down in the heap there. The on loan Real Madrid man is there for the second season, of course, and it did look like he possibly might have been caught there, but the referee, Mike Dean, didn't. In fact, is he going to give a yellow card there? I think maybe
yeah. So it's
didn't look like he was. It didn't look like he was going to give it for a second.
I mean, that is soft, so soft. Ceballos has made the most of that.
It's quite an interesting decision there from Mike Dean to give the yellow card. I think you can see why he's done
that. For multiple fouls.
Yeah, I did think it was a little bit late on that one, but it's very, very soft. And of course, Ceballos, was sent off himself in midweek. 2 yellows for the game against Villarreal. Here's Gabriel now. On to Aubameyang. And Martinelli just gives it on to Aubameyang again, into Odegaard now. Martin Odegaard, the Norway international, and it's now with Ceballos again, and out it goes to, who's that, Martinelli, I think that was, and it's now back with Ceballos again. It's the man at the moment, Mohamed El Neni now, back to Martinelli. He's going to try and take it round his man there, and gives it back to Ceballos again against to Maximan, and then Murphy just gets the ball clear, looking for Callum Wilson, and Matt Ryan's able just to see it into the penalty area and just pick it up and then bowl it out to Granit Xhaka and then into Mohamed El Neni. 31 and a half minutes played, and it's still Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1. In the game that you're listening to on Football Commentary Live, I'm your commentator for the first half. We'll be switching over at half time, and we'll be swapping over with the roles that we're doing. Of course, if you want to follow us, you can follow us at Commentary Live 1 on Twitter, and the Facebook is facebook.com/footcom live as well. And the action doesn't stop here. We've got double header, I believe, tomorrow as well. Here's Martinelli now into Ceballos. Martinelli up, and it's a foul there by Martinelli. I think that was on one of the Newcastle defenders. I think it might have been Fernandez, was it?
Yeah, poor defending again by Newcastle. Martinelli gets through so easily here. And then after that, it's just 6s and 7s at the back. I mean, Ceballos has a clear shot, Dummett hooks it backwards.
Yeah.
Just look awful at the back so far. And it's the case when Lascelles is missing, there's just no one organising at the back. So there's definitely more goals than this for Arsenal. They're cutting through Newcastle at will.
Of course, Arsenal have to be careful themselves, though, from the defensive side. So, and while it's 1-0, anything can happen when it's just that one goal in it. Here's Granit Xhaka now for Arsenal, and he's going to give it to David Luiz, of course, former Chelsea man as well, playing for another London club, to Willian, in fact, his current teammate and a former teammate of his at Stamford Bridge in his time there as well, and all the way back to goalkeeper Dubravka. I think that was by Longstaff that time, and going to play it out to Fernandez and then on to Murphy, and it was good, a little bit of skill there, in fact, to get it out to the right wing back, but then the ball forward was just straight through to Gabriel, and it's now back with Arsenal. We've got possession in the midfield with Dani Ceballos.
There's 2 rush from Newcastle there. Murphy can play it in the midfield, but he tries to play the wonder ball in behind for Wilson that has a 1 in 100 chance of coming off, and Arsenal come again.
And it's now with Gabriel. Arsenal have had 10 attempts and Newcastle's 2. And I'm not too sure how many that's been on target for both sides. I think Newcastle have had 1 on target, I believe, yeah, and Arsenal have had 3, one of those being the goal, of course, as well. It's now Martin Odegaard onto Willian. Willian's going to cut inside here now and give it to Danny Ceballos. He can have a shot here. No, he tries to find Aubameyang, and that was good defending from, I think that might have been Clark that time. Or Dummett, I wasn't quite sure exactly, but it's now with Danny Ceballos again and out to Martin Odegaard, the 2 on loan Real Madrid men combining. And it'd be good to see Martin Odegaard stick around for Arsenal for next season. Danny Ceballos,
looks good. I like him, yeah.
Danny Ceballos, I think, will probably leave, but I'd like to see Odegaard stay. And it's Gabriel Martinelli now trying to find Odegaard, and it's put behind by Fernandes for a corner as we're entering the final 10 minutes of the half.
Yeah, I think Fabrizio Romano said that Ceballos is pretty much definitely going back to Real Madrid. And he even said it himself in an interview. He said that he prefers La Liga or something like that. He says he's learned a lot in the Premier League, but he says he plays better in La Liga. So, yeah, it looks like it's the two loan spells. But it seems like he just lets Arsenal down on too many occasions. I mean, what a stupid red card that was on Thursday. Do you know what I mean? Luckily, it didn't cost his team too badly in the end.
It's going to be a delivery here. Mohamed Al-Nani is the man to watch again. He's being marshalled by Longstaff this time. And then Aubameyang is up against Callum Wilson as well. Going to be Willian over the corner. And it's whipped in towards David Luiz, and it's put behind there by Callum Wilson. And he had to get there as well because Aubameyang was lurking. And if Wilson doesn't get on the end of that, then Aubameyang probably will, and that probably would be 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how unhappy Wilson is, though, because Luiz has just won that header so easily at the front post. Again, I mean, just shocking defending from set pieces once more, and Wilson saves Newcastle again.
It's Martin Odegaard with his corner on the other flank now. Whips in onto the head of David Luiz, and again, it's a free header. It's the second time in a row there that Newcastle have kind of just let Arsenal run on and get a free header at goal there, yeah.
There's this myth about Steve Bruce's team's been solid. I think that's 57 goals Newcastle have conceded this season now. So, it's just ridiculous.
And it's out here to Richie. That was a fantastic ball, yeah. And to Almiron. It was, who was it with the ball? It was it Shelvey? Shelvey.
Shelvey had played the pass, yeah.
That was certainly a John Joe Shelvey pass as well, yeah.
Yeah, but then 2 minutes, and then a minute later, he does what he's been doing most of the season, which is give the ball away.
It's now Odegaard and to Aubameyang. Now Odegaard again out to Granit Xhaka now, and then Odegaard's kind of gone a bit more central this time, and then it's now with Hector Bellerin, the Spanish international. I was actually there for Hector Bellerin's debut as well at the Emirates. It was, I think it was Aston Villa, if I believe. I know he scored in that one. It was 5-0, and I think that was his first game.
Well, he signed in 2011, so that was a long. He's been around for a long time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Hector Bellerin.
And it's now with Odegaard onto Willian now, and Willian trying to find Bellerin, and it's going to be seen behind it. In fact, it's put behind by Dummett there for an Arsenal throw. Coming up to 38 minutes on the clock. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1 still, with Mohamed El-Neni's goal. Of course, for anyone that wants to know in regards to the Scottish game, Rangers won 4-1 against Celtic, and that was some performance from Stephen Gerrard's men as well.
Yeah,
just a hammer home. Joe Shelvey.
Just a hammer home how good they've been this season, wasn't it, from Rangers, really?
Absolutely, yeah. It was good performance from them, and Kemar Roof was certainly on fire, wasn't he? Could have had a hat-trick on another day.
Yeah, I mean, they've just been another level this season, and I guess it shows you the chasm between the two teams this season. It'll be interesting to see what happens next season, whoever Celtic actually
Willian for Arsenal. Willian whips it in, it's too long, and but then Ceballos can keep it in, sorry. And it knocks it back to Granit Xhaka now, and then plays it into Ceballos. And what's Ceballos going to do? He gives it here to Granit Xhaka. He's going to just kind of play it across to David Luiz now. Into Mohamed El-Neni.
Terribly delayed.
Hector Bellerin. Yeah, if things stay this way in the remaining 7 or 8 minutes of this half, I'm sure he will be. It's now Willian through to towards Aubameyang. It's John Joe Shelvey gets it clear towards Callum Wilson. And Callum Wilson's, is he going to get the better here of Gabriel? He gives it to St. Maximin. And Gabriel does very well though. Stood to and just defended that very well, yeah.
Yeah, very good defending by Gabriel.
Of course,
Looks like he's having one of his better games so far.
Yeah. Gabriel's another one that's suffered a little bit this season. Of course, he did have COVID himself and had to miss out through that. And since he come back in, it took him a while to get settled again. And now he's been out of the side quite a bit, and he's now back in a few more of the recent games. But of course, it's good to see Gabriel involved in this one, and of course healthy as well.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be a top quality centre back. I think certainly. It's shown enough for me to indicate that he's going to become a very good signing for Arsenal. Just been, just an inconsistent season, I suppose. But you could say that about pretty much every Arsenal player. So
I think it's going to be interesting next season what happens at Arsenal. It's just, with William Saliba as well. When Saliba comes in, and the likes of Callum Chambers, if he moves across to centre back, Rob Holding as well, Pablo Marie. There's options there for Mikel Arteta next season. And William Saliba, he played one game against MK Dons before he was loaned out in a pre-season friendly a couple of years back. And it'd be interesting to see, how long it takes him to settle really in that Arsenal side.
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be plenty of centre back options.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Danny Ceballos out to Martinelli now. And if William Saliba is any good, any sort of similar kind of player to Fofana as well, one of his ex-teammates, then Arsenal have certainly got a centre back on their hands.
Definitely, yeah.
It's now Gabriel. Granit Xhaka. About 5 minutes left of the first half. Granit Xhaka gets it back now as well. It's kind of moved into midfield a little bit there. There's a free kick, in fact. No, the referee says no, it wasn't. It's now Almiron. I think the referee has got that one right, in fact, as well, though. I think that would have been a very soft free kick, even softer than the other one that Almiron was booked for. Here's David Luiz now to Odegaard. He's going to give it into midfield to Ceballos. I think Granit Xhaka has now gone back to left back, or left wing back. And in fact, no, he hasn't. He's back in playing in centre mid now. I think Arsenal have kind of gone a little bit of a stranger formation. I think they've kind of gone two, and then Hector Bellerin playing on the right there. So Granit Xhaka's not out on the left at the moment.
I guess when Newcastle playing wing backs, he can tuck in, can't he, when Arsenal have the ball? So
it's Gabriel just got the ball from Xhaka as well into Odegaard. Is he fouled there just on the edge of the box, or just before the edge of the box? And Almiron's got himself another foul against his name there, and of course he has been booked already as well, so he's got to be quite careful actually, the Newcastle midfielder.
Yeah, I think Mike Dean's indicating him there, not so much as a last warning, but I mean, you can say that's accidental, so I don't think he's ever going to get booked for that. It is a foul.
Yeah, it's a foul, but it's certainly not a yellow card. He went through the back of him, but it's not late or anything like that, really. Yeah, not malicious. It's a good opportunity here for a shot as well. I wonder if it's going to be a Martin Odegaard free kick or a David Luiz special. David Luiz, can hit him from this sort of distance.
I'm surprised Granit Xhaka's not standing over it, to be fair.
Yeah, that's another name as well. Absolutely, yeah. Xhaka can hit him from there. That's kind of Aubameyang, in fact, who's kind of just gone into the wall as well. Looks like Newcastle were one of the only teams not to have somebody lying down in the wall as well to stop the low one. Or at least not yet, anyway.
Is a good position for a free kick, this.
It's Odegaard's effort. It's got it back as well. It's a good block there from the Newcastle wall. And it was Martin Odegaard onto Willian, and that was very wasteful actually from the free kick there for Arsenal, but Newcastle defended very well. I'm not too sure who actually hit in the wall, but they stood firm and stood strong anyway.
Yeah, a bit of a waste really. They didn't recycle it well enough either.
No, that's very true. It's now Shelvey on to Fernandez and then out to Murphy now. About a minute and a half left of the 45. Probably won't be too many minutes additional time, I don't think. Maybe one, maybe two at most. It's now Matt Ritchie. And it's now with St. Maximin. Back out to the Scotsman Richie again. Going to find Almiron now in behind. It's gone behind off of Hector Bellerin for a corner ball there, and good play from Newcastle there. Certainly done well to get Almiron in behind Bellerin, and Almiron certainly had the beating of him.
Well, he's got the pace, hasn't he? And that's what you want. That's why you want to see him picking up the ball. And it's a great ball by Richie. Perfect weight on the pass. So but even if he gets the ball in, there's only Wilson in the box, unfortunately. So you get more bodies in the box.
Let's see who's going to take the corner. Couldn't quite see. In fact, it was too quick, and it's onto the head of was that Callum Wilson again? It's gone behind. Yeah, it was actually onto the head of Callum Wilson. Wasn't quite sure who took the corner. Was it?
It was. It's Sean Longstaff who takes them ones.
Longstaff on that side. Okay.
Yeah, on that side. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm doing this with you because you obviously know a bit more about Newcastle and who takes the set pieces from what positions. It's just coming up to the end of the 45. Steve Bruce just on screen, just showing Aubameyang as well. Probably might be 1 minute additional time, I think, but we'll find out in a second. As Matt Ryan hooks it clear towards Martinelli on towards Aubameyang, and we should find out any second now how much additional time. In fact, we've got 2 minutes, so it's the second option that I said. It's now Aubameyang, and is he caught there? The referee, Mike Dean, says yes, he was by Federico Fernandez, and
what stupid foul that is.
Quite a ridiculous foul to give away, really, from the Argentine defender.
There's no need. I mean, it's a blatant foul. He looks at him and he shoulder barges him to the floor. It's a blatant foul. Just stand your ground.
Yeah.
Stand your ground. Aubameyang's going nowhere there. He can't do anything with the ball. It's bouncing. Just gives Arsenal a chance to put the ball in the box. Mad that a defender that experienced has made a decision like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have thought it might have been something a bit less experienced, but you just have to see what happens from this free kick. It's Willian and Odegaard over it. See whether they can make Newcastle pay for that foul. So Odegaard whips it in. That's a good head there by the Newcastle man. I think it was Murphy that time. And it's on to Granit Xhaka trying to backheel it and giving the ball away to Shelby. And St. Maximin loses out to Hector Bellerin.
Fouled again.
But he wins the free kick. That's what, 5 times in this first half? Something like that?
Yeah, 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah. Seems like every time St. Maximin gets the ball, it's Arsenal like to use the fouls in regards to stopping him, but I suppose sometimes breaking up the play like that can work, and it has worked so far.
You identify him as that Newcastle's most dangerous player when he gets the ball, things happen. But I guess that the referee's doing it to give him more protection and dish out more yellow cards for the fouls on him.
It's John Joe Shelby with his free kick. About 12 seconds remaining of this first half. He's going to whip it in. Probably last opportunity of the half, actually, and towards the Newcastle man that was up there. I think it was one of the centre-backs. I couldn't quite see who it was. It might have been Clark or Dummett, one of those two. But anyway, it's now St. Maximin. It's Denis Ceballos, and it's into Aubameyang. And there you go. There is the half-time whistle. Mohamed El Neni's goal the difference after 5 minutes. And the Egyptians look very lively for Arsenal as well. He could have had a second with that one that was off the line a little bit later on in the half. And he's done well defensively. Newcastle have had moments, but Arsenal have stood kind of firm to those moments and defended very well at the moment. So at the break, Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1.
Thank you very much, Mike Harniman and Jack Cunningham, for the excellent first half commentary, both working very well together to let you know what is happening on the field of play in this game. And we've got some big breaking news which is been happening while this game has been going on, and I'll get...
We haven't gone back to the Super League, have we, Russ?
No, it's not. It's nothing to do with the Super League, but it is due to one of the teams that was supposed to be in the Super League, and that is Manchester United. And Manchester United fans staged anti-Glazer protest after getting inside Old Trafford. Angry Man United fans are staging a protest against the club's owners after getting inside their Old Trafford stadium. Supporters gathered outside to demonstrate ahead of the Liverpool visit this afternoon following the club's failed attempt to join the controversial European Super League. They then broke down barriers and went into the stadium and onto the pitch. Earlier, fans were also seen letting off flares and blocking the entrance to the team's hotel in Manchester. Security has stepped up around the stadium. Manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has backed fans' right to protest, but urged them to do it peacefully. They are demanding a change at the top of the club, which has been in control of the Glazer family since 2005, and I've seen a video which has been shared out by former Talksport pundit Stan Collymore, and Man United fans inside the stadium are throwing flares towards the studio where the TV pundits are, the likes of Roy Keane, and then they're all sat up there and they're getting flares thrown at them for, as Man United fans protest on the pitch. So, big breaking news story coming out from Old Trafford ahead of their match with Liverpool today. If Manchester United lose that game today, then Manchester City, their bitter rivals, their City rivals, will claim the Premier League title. But if they win, but Man City need 3 points to win. But if Liverpool get to win this afternoon, they'll get the result. They'll get the title job done this afternoon. And we'll just bring in Jack Cunningham on this breaking news which I've just mentioned there. And Jack, what's your thoughts on that big breaking news where Man United fans broke down the barriers and got inside Old Trafford?
Yeah, where's the security? Is the probably one thing, but when the Super League was going on, we saw all the Chelsea fans outside protesting against it. But is there any need to break into the stadium and start throwing flares at the Sky Sports area? It's absolutely disgraceful, to be honest. And well, hopefully they're all punished, and they don't get away with it. But it's clear that they want the Glazers out, but there's got to be better ways to show it than that. Do you know what I mean? It seems totally unnecessary and pretty disgusting, really.
Absolutely, indeed. There's some more news coming in as well. They've got a football. The fans have got a football and they're playing football on the pitch at Old Trafford as well. And you can see people breaking into some of the stands, as well as the steward stood there not doing anything, and then he's letting him walk onto the pitch. The show flares being thrown, like I said, and some breaking news as well. The Liverpool team, who are in their hotel, are being told by GMP, the Greater Manchester Police, being advised on what next steps. Liverpool are now back at hotel, but being told to prepare for 4:30 kickoff as normal. I'll bring you any developments on that. And just seen Liverpool have been told the match will go ahead as planned this afternoon. That's just breaking news in the last couple of seconds. And there's some couple of Man United fans outside their Carrington training ground on a training complex in Carrington, which says, "We decide when you play." And that's a banner at Manchester United's training ground.
In fact, they're just showing it now. In fact, as well on Sky, they're just showing it now. That I've actually just got the pictures on, and it was quite a kind of heated protest for a moment, and they're all on the pitch now, and they are showing it now in regards to what's actually happening. And you have to question the security for sure. Yeah.
You do indeed, man. You do have to question the security. I can see the pitch now. They've all been moved out of the stadium. They are cleaning it up, and they've all gone back outside of the stadium. But security is building at Old Trafford. The match will go ahead at 4:30 as things stand. But any change to the kickoff time for Old Trafford between Man United and Liverpool, I'll bring that to you as soon as we get anything. But Liverpool have been told the match will go ahead as planned at 4:30 this afternoon. And Mike, you've just seen the footage of the protest, which have just been shown by the TV cameras here. What do you make to the protest which you've just seen in the Do you agree with John that security must got to be questioned there?
Yeah, 100%. I think you have to look at that. You have to look at the stewarding, the security, the policing, the whole security system. Really, the fans have a right to protest, and you certainly understand what they're protesting against. As Chelsea have done, Arsenal have done, Liverpool have done as well, and many of the other teams that have involved in the European Super League. But that's going against. That's kind of going a step too far, sorry, I should say, in regards to actually breaking onto the pitch and into the stadium. Of course, Arsenal had it against Everton, and it was a very peaceful protest. There was no signs of anything like that happening. And, Manchester United fans, I understand what they're protesting against, but at the same time, they've got to do it in the right manner. And then they've shown there that, they've kind of just got carried away. And, they've kind of let their emotions get the better of them.
They have indeed, Mike. They have indeed. And when I saw them throwing flares at the likes of Graham Souness, Roy Keane, and Michael Richards, and Dave Jones, that's not on throwing flares at the people who are just trying to do their job for the company they're working for, reporting on what's the games that are being played today. So it's not fair on them getting flares thrown at. But like you say, security has got to be questioned. Now let me turn to the attentions on the match we have just watched in that first half, and we'll bring you any developments on the Man United saga as and when we can. But Jack Cunningham, you've been summarising for that first half, and what do you make of the first half? Do you feel Newcastle can get something from this? They're only 1-0 down at the moment. Do you feel Newcastle can get something out of this, or do you feel if the next goal goes to Arsenal, it's going to be too far of a steep to get something from?
But if the next goal goes to Arsenal, it's game over. But yeah, Newcastle can definitely get something from this. They had a decent spell for about 10, 15 minutes, but apart from that, I was really disappointed. For a team who've come into this 4 unbeaten, all their big players are back, only missing Lascelles, really, in terms of a player who you'd think is regularly starting. Maybe Ryan Fraser, something like that as well. But yeah, I've just been disappointed. They haven't got St Maximin on the ball enough when he has been on the ball. Arsenal have shut him down well. It's been disappointing. Newcastle really. Callum Wilson's had not even a sniff really to get anything, to get a goal or anything like that. So we'll see what Steve Bruce comes up with. But it's been like this all season. Like disappointing performances after disappointing performances. We haven't got Willock either, who can come off the bench and's been getting the goals. So I don't really know how he changes it really. Maybe change the formation or something like that. But yeah, I've been a bit disappointed really because I thought we'd have at least a bit more of a goal. We've sat off Arsenal too much and we've given them too much of the ball, and Arsenal are cutting through us at will really. And if they'd finished better or if Almiron wasn't on the line, it'd be at least 2-0.
Yes, and Mike, looking at it from an Arsenal perspective on the first half, going in 1-0, you'd be pretty happy, I would have thought, with the scoreline and the way you've played in that first half at times. If you think, like Jack, if Arsenal get a second goal, do you think it's game over, or do you feel Newcastle still can get something from the game even if Arsenal get a second goal, mate?
I think that if Arsenal do go on and get the next goal, and it probably will be game over, but Newcastle have certainly got options. I said about it earlier on. They've got some good threats on the pitch. If you look at some of the players on the bench as well, the likes of Anderson, of course, Gale might come on, Joe Linton might come on as well. There are options there to kind of come on and, in sort of regards to some more attacking options for Newcastle and some players there that can come on and have an impact. But then Arsenal have got the same as well. If they want to look at the bench, there's Smith Rowe, there's Pepe as well. And even if you want to kind of put an extra midfielder on, you've got Thomas Partey in there. Bukayo Saka, of course, another one on there as well. The other young Englishman. So there's options on the bench for Arsenal if they want to go on and get another goal or two as well and kind of really seal this game. But at the moment, I'm quite pleased. I think Mohamed Elneny's been great in midfield. I thought he's deserved his goal. Could have easily had a second as well. Martinelli's looked lively, and there's other players in there that I think Aubameyang's been quite quiet again, as he always has been in recent weeks. Martin Odegaard has had moments. Willian again has been quiet. But then, there's options on the bench for Arsenal in regards to if they do want to change it up a little bit. But at the moment, I'm quite pleased with the scoreline as it is. And yeah, certainly the two men that stand out for me so far are Elneny and Gabriel Martinelli. But Elneny nicks it for me because of the goal and his other involvements in the game as well.
Yes, and also, another quick one before we go back to the ready for the second half. If you look at the Arsenal bench, if you were Mikel Arteta, still 1-0 on the 60th minute mark, and you're looking to get the second goal and you're looking to make changes, who would you turn to first? You've got the likes of Saka, Pepe, Smith Rowe, and Ketia all on the bench as attacking options. Out of those four, Mike, Saka, Pepe, Smith Rowe, and Nketiah, who would you turn to first and why?
Personally, I think I would go with Nicola Pepe. I think Pepe looked good on the Thursday night game in patches. I thought he caused problems for the Villarreal back line when he was given the ball. But it depends really on whether Aubameyang is going to last 90 minutes. I don't personally think he will. So I do think Eddie and Nketiah will get on at some stage. And so potentially if the score is a 1-0, if Arsenal go on to get a second beforehand as well, then Aubameyang will probably make way with about half an hour to go to kind of keep him a little bit fresh for Thursday night second leg, because obviously he's only just coming back.
Yes, and Jack, question to you is still 1-0 to Arsenal on the 60th minute. If you were Steve Bruce, looking at the bench, you've got Joelinton, Gale, mentioned Anderson as well. You've got Hendrick, who can likes to get forward and can also sit as well. Which player would you be turning to first if you wanted to get a goal and get back into this game, if you were still 1-0 on the 60th minute?
Just for some unpredictability, because he's only played one Premier League game in his entire career, I'd bring Elliot Anderson on. Don't think Arsenal would really know what to expect from him. It'd be nice to see him. As I said, saying earlier, they see him as the best prospect of the academy for a long, long time. So, I'd really like to see him come on, and no matter what the score is, to be honest, I really think that with Newcastle 9 points clear of 18th now, with Fulham are running out of games. So yeah, I really like to see Anderson. Much rather see Anderson than the likes of Gale or Joelinton, to be honest.
Yes, and Mike, Jack's just mentioned there, he would rather fetch on Anderson. If you were looking at it from a Newcastle standpoint, if you're looking at it from an Arsenal standpoint, which of the Newcastle subs bench, like Joelinton, Gale, Anderson, Hendrick as well, who I mentioned in there, out of those four, if you was as an Arsenal fan, which one of those would you be more worried about if they came on, if the scores remain the same?
It's quite a hard one to call, really. Like Joelinton on his day can be quite a good player. He can make things happen. Anderson as well. I saw Anderson play in the FA Cup and in the league game as well, and I thought he looked quite lively in patches. And of course, it's the unpredictability with Anderson as well. So yeah, maybe Anderson might be the one for Newcastle. And I did mention Smith Rowe, and I think Smith Rowe probably will get on for Arsenal at some point in this game as well. And it'd be interesting to see how he performs, because take the FA Cup game for example. That was the 2-0 victory in extra time for Arsenal in the end, and Smith Rowe was heavily involved in that game where he got sent off, and it was overruled by VAR, and then he got the goal, and then Aubameyang got the sealer on top of that. But I think Anderson, the games I saw him in, the games against Arsenal, he's looked quite bright and quite lively. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Michael. We're going to head back over now as Newcastle just making their way onto the field of play very, very soon for the second half. They're just still in the tunnel just before they made their way back onto the field of play. So what we're going to do, I'm going to hand back over now to your match commentator for the second half is Mike Harniman, and first, Jack Cunningham.
Thank you, Russ. Some good chat at half time there. Absolute mad scenes at Old Trafford. We'll have to see what happens with that. And Newcastle now finally do emerge from the tunnel. I wasn't sure they were waiting for. Maybe looked like they were waiting for St. Maximin, because I couldn't see him anywhere. So be interested to see how Newcastle approach the second half. I can't imagine Steve Bruce would have been happy with that first half. Didn't really get into Arsenal's faces or cause them enough problems at all. In fairness to Arsenal, I thought Gabriel at the back was rock solid, actually. He dealt with everything that went his way. But there's definitely more goals in this game. But as I said, there's definitely more goals in the game for Arsenal as well. But it will be Newcastle kicking towards the Gallagher end, Arsenal kicking towards the Leazes end. and we are back underway for the second half with the score at 1-0 to the Gunners. That Mohamed El Neni goal is first in his Premier League career. This is David Luiz swinging the ball over towards Granit Xhaka, who's advanced forward and gets the flick on, and Gabriel Martinelli just about keeps it in. Some good pace there from the Brazilian. He's looked a live wire in the first half as well, has Gabriel Martinelli. So it'll be Jacob Murphy to take this throw in, deep inside his own half, probably about 12, roughly in line with the penalty spot on the right-hand side. Murphy launches it long to no one. Xhaka picks it up, and this is now Gabriel into El Neni. El Neni swings it across to Hector Bellerin, who touches it inside to Willian. Willian back into Bellerin. Bellerin plays it back into David Luiz, who again been injured for a bit of time, Luiz, but making his return to fitness just at the right time for Arsenal's point of view, because I would assume he could play on Thursday if he plays the full 90 minutes here.
Yeah, I think David Luiz probably will be involved on Thursday night. I don't know whether it'll be from the start or whether he'll kind of, maybe come off the bench, but I think it depends what Mikel Arteta wants to do. David Luiz certainly will be involved in some capacity, as will Aubameyang. And it'd be interesting to see, still touch and go with Tierney and Lacazette as well for that game. And, I don't think either will make it, because I think if they were going to make it for that game, they would have at least been on the bench for this one.
Yeah, that makes logical sense there. Newcastle finally get the ball back after Arsenal sort of knocked it around for sort of minute and a half. It's Dubravka launching it towards Sean Longstaff over his head, and Jack was going to let that go sail straight out of play. So not exactly the flying out the blocks sort of start that maybe Newcastle fans would have wanted from their team so far. Quite a relaxed, chill send off. Be interested to see what the atmosphere is like at St James's Park for that game against Sheffield United when fans are allowed in, because let's be fair, the feeling towards Steve Bruce is not kind.
No, absolutely not. And, there's certainly, when Arsenal fans are back in, there's going to be a lot going on against Kroenke and,
definitely,
as well. So it's going to be very interesting.
This is Shelvey. I mean, the Arteta, it seems the fan base is a bit split over Arteta as well. It seems to be all about the Europa League. This is Murphy into Maximan. Maximan sort of loses it, but then he picks it back up again and just turns around in a circle, looking for an option. Shelvey clips one out towards Dummett on this far side, left-hand side, as we look at it. Back into Miguel Almiron, and he finds Shelvey again. Shelvey slips a nice-looking ball into Almiron, although maybe didn't have the pace on it so that he could take it in his stride. But now he's running ahead to Bellerin, Almiron. He's got 3 men in the box. In the end, he pulls it back to Matt Ritchie. And back to Shelvey, into Almiron again. Now looks to deliver the Paraguayan, sends it in, pretty poor ball. No one on the edge for Newcastle. And that's a silly foul by Matt Ritchie. El Neni
El Neni. And again, El Neni there, continuing on with that form from the first half, really, and defending very, very well there. I think Russ wanted to come in because he's got a little bit of breaking news, actually, in regards to the game at Old Trafford as well, the Man U and Liverpool game.
Yeah, no worries. Pull that in.
Yes, the breaking news: Man United team coach Stono left their team hotel, and the match is highly likely to have a delayed kick-off. And both clubs have been told in the last few minutes it'll be at least an hour for the situation to be under control. So there could be a delayed kick-off for Manchester United against Liverpool this afternoon.
Thank you for that, Russ. Give us more updates as we hear it. But yeah, I mean, incredible scenes there going on at Old Trafford. And it does look like that game is going to be delayed. But here at St James's Park, it is still Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 1. This is Kieran Clark. Flings one in towards Almiron's feet. And then he plays it back into Jonjo Shelvey. Shelvey's wearing the captain's armband in Lascelles' absence. Again, a player who Newcastle fans are not really convinced why he's starting games at the moment. Gabriel hits the floor there under pressure from Callum Wilson. And that is a foul against Wilson. Gabriel being clever there, I think. And he felt the slightest contact.
Very clever from the Brazilian there. And I thought that he's done very well so far as Gabriel and Callum Wilson there kind of just an arm on him really, and Gabriel just went down. And it's been the partnership between him and David Luiz so far in this game has looked pretty solid.
Yeah, kept Wilson and Saint-Maximin really quiet, although the service to them two has been beyond poor, to be fair. This is now David Luiz. Luiz fires one of his trademark balls in the direction of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, He's been really quiet as well, Aubameyang, but he has been suffering from quite a serious illness. So, and we've got a stoppage in play here. Oh, David Luiz is down.
David Luiz, the man that we just said a little while ago, would he play on first?
We have to. There was no one anywhere near him, so this is quite concerning for the Brazilian.
I was just saying there about would he play on Thursday as well, and I seem to think that he probably will, but not too sure now if he's forced off here with this injury. In fact, he was an arm on him by St. Maximan. He went down because of that, but it was not.
He's pulled his hamstring.
Yeah.
As he's fired the ball in the direction of Aubameyang, his hamstring's gone. St. Maximan gave him a little tap on the shoulder, but it had nothing to do with the Frenchman. And I think that could be David Luiz's afternoon over, because we know what it's like with muscle injuries like that. You can't really carry on.
No, for sure. And there is options on the bench. So, Pablo Mari will probably be the man, although they're both two left-sided centre-backs, him and Gabriel. So actually, it'd be Callum Chambers, in fact, and that is exactly what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yep, that is exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be Callum Chambers, who's usually been playing right back this season. This will only be his sixth a league appearance of the season. Actually, Callum Chambers being mainly used in the Europa League this season, and that is the end of David Luiz's afternoon. Not all fans want to see.
No, I like Callum Chambers. I think he's been very good at right back lately. He's put in some really good performances. Of course, there was that one against West Ham where he got, I think it was 2 assists, and he's looked very lively in a lot of games he's been involved in. Of course, Callum Chambers was on loan at Fulham last season as well, and did very, very well for them. Was it last season or 2 seasons ago? But
it was when they were in the it was when they were in the Premier League the last time, wasn't it?
I think two seasons ago. Yeah, and he looked very good there in a sort of more holding defensive midfield role, and he has done a job at centre back at times as well with Callum Chambers. But it's it's certainly the partnership now is. It's kind of one that I don't think Arsenal have used this season with Callum Chambers alongside Gabriel. I think this is the first time they're going to be partnering each other.
I have to say, David Luiz looks absolutely gutted, and he obviously was thinking that he'd play this game and then be involved on Thursday for Arsenal's biggest game of the season.
Yeah,
and it could be his season is over. That could be his season over now, because there's not many games left really. A muscle injury like that, we don't know the extent of it, obviously, but yeah, it looks concerning. And well, I guess we'll have to see how Newcastle deal with this. Will Wilson have a bit more joy up against Callum Chambers? This is Sean Longstaff now. Shows some nice feet inside and then fires a superb ball over to Matt Ritchie, who brings it down. Ritchie looking to advance forward, looking to get the cross in early. Ritchie sends it in, and it's deflected over the top by Callum Chambers.
That was Callum Chambers straight away. He's going to be very pleased with himself there. First sort of involvement in the game, and he hooks it clear. He's got to be careful there from that position as well, not to turn it past his own goalkeeper.
Yeah,
and he's done very well, the England man.
Strong defending. This is Ritchie over it. Left-footed in-swinger. One-arm raised. Ritchie whips it in. Might come through to John Shelby at the back post, doesn't it? It's hooked away by Martin Odegaard. This is now Almiron. Finds Shelby. Shelby sends it into the box. It's long and it's too long, and Matt Ryan comes out and collects, and Ryan's dealt with everything in the air superbly well this afternoon. But, I mean, that's what you would expect from Premier League. Well, from a goalkeeper who made 123 appearances for Brighton.
Yeah, I always rated him at Brighton. I always thought he was a very good goalkeeper. And he's an Arsenal fan as well, so he certainly wants to see the club do well and win every single game. So, certainly some Arsenal fans say that some of the players aren't on the same hymn sheet as the fans, but Matt Ryan certainly is.
54 minutes gone here. It's still Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 1. Granit Xhaka with a clever ball through for Aubameyang, but Clark just gets enough on it. Not convincing defender by Kieran Clark, but he did just enough. Federico Fernandez finds Sean Longstaff. Loose pass by Longstaff. But I think it was Ceballos couldn't make enough of it, and Newcastle will have a throw.
It was the Spanish international there, yeah.
Yeah, so this is Murphy now. Murphy. Lifelong Newcastle United fan as well, Jacob Murphy's contract. Well, everyone thought his contract expired at the end of the season, but turns out they have an extra year on it anyway. This is Callum Wilson. Fires it into St. Maximan, and St. Maximan wants it. Well, he was away from Callum Chambers, but Mike Dean's pulled it back, which seems beyond unusual because, well, all the advantage for Newcastle's gone now. Unless it was for a moving ball, maybe. Let's have a look. Gabriel.
No, I think it was just the foul from Granit Xhaka there, where he just shoulder barked
Granit
into him,
Xhaka. Yes, the foul was being taken from a different position. No worries. Well, that's fair enough. Although, Maximan was definitely aware though.
Granit Xhaka's got to be careful as well. He got booked,
he does have to be
early on in
careful.
the first half.
I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe gets taken off at some point. This is Jacob Murphy trying to slide it through, but he gets lucky and Shelvey flings it in towards Matt Ritchie, who's pushed much further up in the second half. Ritchie drills the ball into Wilson. Wilson then caught by El Neni, but he carries on. Finds St Maximan. Both of Newcastle's danger men too far away from the goal. St Maximan still going, gets his cross in, comes out with Jacob Murphy. Is he going to shoot? No, he's going to... Well, he does hit it in the end. Not very convincing by Murphy there.
That was a great put in originally from Mohamed El Neni once again.
It was,
in there. And I know we've still got about 35 minutes left of this game, but El Neni so far has certainly got to be in contention for man of the match in this game.
Definitely got the goal, doing his defensive duties really well. This is back to Odegaard, and this is now Callum Chambers. Chambers just allowed to walk out and find Martin Odegaard, who's got 1 goal in 11 Premier League appearances now. This is now Willian. Willian finds Bellerin. Bellerin looking to take on Matt Ritchie. Instead, he pulls it back to the former Chelsea player Willian. Bellerin into Odegaard. And Odegaard switches it across to Granit Xhaka. Xhaka looks up. Clips one. That's a delightful ball by Granit Xhaka into Hector Bellerin. Bellerin back to Willian. Also, really patient here. Trying to work the opportunity. Willian travelling across. Finds Xhaka. Xhaka drills a nice ball into Ceballos. Can he get away a shot? Instead, he finds El Neni. El Neni hits it. And it's gone wide.
I think that's gone behind. Is that going to be a corner? Yep. I think it will be, yeah.
I think it's going to be a corner. Deflected wide in the end.
I'm trying to find the Aubameyang there as well. And it's good play again from El Neni there, trying to feed the captain there, the Gabon international. And it's a good opportunity here for Arsenal to maybe put another opportunity, another ball into the box, I should say, and really trouble Dubravka again.
Well, Newcastle have been dreadful defending set pieces in the first half, so there was plenty of opportunities, at least 3 free headers from what I remember. So it's a chance for Arsenal here. It's Willian over it. Willian sends it into the back post. Way too long that from
Willian. For Aubameyang and everybody else. And it went out for a throw in the end,
yeah, he just looks a shadow of the player who was even really good for Chelsea last season. I remember I think against Tottenham, he got a double to win for Chelsea to win that game. He scored a couple against West Ham as well in a game. He just looks a shadow of the player that he once was. This is St Maximan trying to put Ryan under pressure, but good feet by the Australian because he could have been in some serious trouble there.
Yeah, Matt Ryan I really like as a goalkeeper. I certainly would keep him at the club for next season as a number 2 if Arsenal can sign him permanently. If not even number 1, because Bernd Leno, of course, made that mistake. Was it the last league game against Everton, getting the own goal, and there's been moments where he's played it out from the back and he's kind of made a few errors as well. Something that Matt Ryan doesn't do. Matt Ryan's quite comfortable on the ball and he's quite good with his feet as well, and his distribution is pretty good. So I'd like to see him remain at the club for next year, yeah.
That was a naughty one by Kieran Clark there, gone on totally unnoticed. He left an elbow on the back of Aubameyang, letting him know that he's in a game, but certainly lucky to get away with the yellow card, in my opinion, on that one. This is now Xhaka. Back to Gabriel Magalhaes. He finds Ceballos. Danny Ceballos looks up, looking to take on Sean Longstaff. Slips a ball through to Martinelli, who is quick, but he's not quite that quick.
And he's just got shoved there as he was trying to just time waste a little bit. But I think it was Jacob Murphy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Murphy. Yeah, Shelvey, very loose touch. Back to Dubravka. Dubravka needs to get rid of this. In the end, he floats one out to Matt Ritchie. Newcastle playing with a very dangerous area here. Dummett then just drives it long. And St Maximan's away here. Here he goes. He's got Callum Wilson with him. Alan St Maximan tries to slide in Callum Wilson. He had Sean Longstaff totally free, but I just think he lost his footing in the end. And Callum Wilson has come in and taken out Gabriel. So
I think that was Callum Chambers as well. Callum Chambers done very well not to foul St Maximan. Of course, St Maximan is a very tricky, skillful player, very pacey as well. Callum Chambers done well to keep up with him and I think put the pressure on him a little bit there. So that was good play from the substitute.
Yeah, good defending by Gabriel, actually. He's got to read exactly where St Maximin was going to play the pass. Probably should have went to Sean Longstaff, to be honest. He was the one who was free on the right-hand side. But, well, 60 minutes gone, still Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 1. Be interested to see who makes the first change. As I said, I would like to see Elliot Anderson. I mean, certainly for John Shelby, who's done very little once more. Potentially, there's no Joe Willock, which is obviously going to be a problem as well, considering the goals he scored. So we'll have to see if Newcastle can get back into this one. But Arsenal as well, I mean, they'd be looking, I mean, they'll be very happy with this 1-0 win going into what is a massive game on Thursday night.
Yeah, most definitely. And I do think that if you look at the head-to-heads as well, Newcastle have lost 16 of the last 17 competitive matches without even scoring in the last 5. And Arsenal have only lost 3 from the 22. So the form certainly with Arsenal, as is the scoreline at the moment too.
Yeah, Newcastle just a team who cannot beat Arsenal but in the past decade, essentially. This is now Gabriel. Gabriel clips one forward. That is a brilliant ball by Gabriel. Martinelli just can't keep it in, and Murphy, I think, doesn't prevent the throw-in. Oh, no, it doesn't. No. But lovely play by one Gabriel, the other Gabriel, but loose touch by Martinelli in the end, I think. And this is now Ceballos. Shows some close control. Xhaka slides one in, goes through Murphy's legs, and Federico Fernandez gives it away in a silly area. This is Aubameyang. Loses his footing in the box, but still got it, and it's a foul.
Yeah, definitely.
Federico Fernandez. Yeah, going in the book. He's a player again who's had a really rough afternoon, Federico Fernandez.
Well, he was caught in the first half, wasn't he, as well? Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a poor season, really. He had COVID, and I don't think he's really recovered from it, to be honest. Yeah, he looks a shadow of the player he was last season as well. So late here, just stands on his foot. And it's a free kick in a dangerous position. Obviously, Fabian Schär's back now, so I mean, looking into the next week when Newcastle play Leicester, I'd like to see Schär, I think, instead of Fernandez. But this is Willian or Odegaard over it, and if he gets a good ball in here, well, could be game over for the two. Willian leaves it for Odegaard. Odegaard sends it into the box. It's a free header by Gabriel, and he probably should have scored.
And that's 3 or 4 times as well. I think David Luiz towards the end of the first half, I think it was twice with David Luiz, one where Arsenal nearly scored off of a David Luiz one. I think it was Callum Wilson that put it behind in the end on that occasion. And there was the other one that was straight up into the air and at Dubravka, and then that one there from Gabriel as well. And from set pieces there, Newcastle, I'm not too sure what their marking strategy is, but it's not working, yeah.
I don't know what the word, but it's been a problem for like most of the time Steve Bruce has been in charge. So it's just one of those things, set pieces, for some reason we can't defend them anymore. That was appalling. Gabriel totally free, and he should have scored. Can Newcastle punish them? Here comes St Maximin, slips it into Sean Longstaff back to Federico Fernandez. Arsenal very happy to let St Maximin have the ball there. He travels over the halfway line now, and he finds Almiron into John Shelby into Paul Dummett. It's all very slow from Newcastle. This is Matt Ritchie into Dummett, and all the way back to Kieran Clark, and he finds Dubravka.
Well, of course, I'm just having a look here at a few other bits of information as well. Newcastle have only lost, once in their last 8, and that was against Brighton. And then, of course, consecutively, if they could win consecutive games for only the second time under Steve Bruce as well, if they are to come back here. But at the moment, it's Arsenal that are in control as things stand.
Murphy was on a decent run there, but he just lost his footing as he had 2 men over. Aubameyang kills the ball brilliantly, but Fernandez snaps in. Well, Mike Deans signals something.
I think it's a throw, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a free kick, in fact.
Free kick. I think must have been for offside then, Aubameyang. Here's Sean Longstaff. Longstaff dinks one forward. It's a really good ball, actually. Almiron in behind. Might drop for Wilson. Almiron's still going. And in the end, he's been forced away from goal. Good defending. But this is St Maximin now. I'm going to dance his way through. 1, 2. Needs to now find the pass. Digs out to Ritchie. Ritchie whips in across, and Ryan comes out again. Good claim. Decent ball. Good area by Matt Ritchie. Yeah, but good goalkeeping.
Yeah, good hands there from Matt Ryan. And again, it's St. Maximin that is looking to create for Newcastle. The man that's certainly been, their sort of best player so far, yeah.
This is El Neni finds Aubameyang, who's picked up a nice pocket of space here. And he just takes it and slows it all down and finds Willian on the right-hand side into Hector Bellerin. Bellerin clips one into Martinelli. Martinelli finds Granit Xhaka. Xhaka into Aubameyang. Got Aubameyang. Nice 1-2 here. Aubameyang gets it back. Tackled well, but comes back to Odegaard. Odegaard slips one into Martinelli. Martinelli drills it across. It's a brilliant goal by Arsenal. And there's Aubameyang at the back post. Fantastic cross by Gabriel Martinelli. And Aubameyang is there to score his 6th goal in 8 games against Newcastle. It's goal number 10 of the season for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as well. But it was a beautifully constructed move involving Odegaard, Aubameyang and Martinelli. Ceballos was involved in it as well. And it is now a long, long way back for the two.
And that's Aubameyang as well. He doesn't miss from those kind of positions too often. And it's good play there from Odegaard, out from Martinelli as well. Good ball. And yeah, Aubameyang just loves to score against Newcastle. And he's done it again.
It's a fantastic cross by Gabriel Martinelli. Aubameyang almost cannot miss. Just needs to get a foot on it and it's a goal. Poor defending once again by Newcastle. Just allowed them to play in and around the lines too easily. And there was Aubameyang. And well, we'll have to see what Steve Bruce's response is. But it's been a poor performance from his side after going into this game in quite good form.
And there you go. Good ball there across onto the feet of Aubameyang from Martinelli as well. Another player that Arsenal fans, as I mentioned earlier, really want to see a lot of. And hopefully Arsenal get to see a lot more of him come the end of this season, because that is certainly what he can do. Certainly against Chelsea as well last season. He scored that wonderful goal where he just ran the whole length of the pitch and scored. And everyone likes to see Gabriel Martinelli as a very highly rated prospect at Arsenal, yeah. Yeah,
Martinelli, man, he's 19 still. He's had just horrendous luck with injuries, hasn't he, really? But looks like he's coming back into it now. He's played a part in all 6 of Arsenal's last league games, including this one. So what on earth are Newcastle doing there?
That's very sloppy play, yeah.
And Bruce can only look at the floor. He's obviously got no idea what to do, which is usually the case. And it's a corner. And Newcastle after this play Leicester City, Man City, and then they finish the season against Sheffield United and Fulham. So, I mean, we'll have to see how the season ends, but it's been a very, very disappointing season.
I was just looking at Arsenal's fixtures as well, but it's Villarreal the second leg, then West Brom, then Chelsea, then Palace, then Brighton, yeah.
Willian sends it in. It's a really good ball, and it's flicked just wide by Callum Chambers. There's more goals than this for Arsenal because Newcastle are at 6 and 7s at the back and have been all
Arsenal do have the better record overall in all competitions as well. 81 wins to Newcastle 67, only 38 draws in that time, and it's certainly going to be, it looks like being 82 wins in all competitions for Arsenal, barring another kind of calamity again. And they have happened in this fixture as well, when Arsenal were 4-0 up and they went to 4-4. So
Indeed they have, but this Newcastle side is very different to that one. But also, I mean, Matt Ryan's only had one save to make, really, so we'll have to see if Newcastle can at least put some more pressure on, because I still don't think Arsenal's defence is that good, but just been a poor performance, really, from the two. And that's not a great pass by Sean Longstaff into Kieran Clark. It's all very pedestrian at this point. Feels like a very end-of-season game at this point now, 2-0. Arsenal very, very content. Newcastle not really trying too much. Ball slipped down into Sean Longstaff. Can they change up here? It's deflected and it drops into the arms of Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan's been very good today.
Yeah.
He's not done anything wrong whatsoever. He made a couple of really good saves as well.
Yeah, he's made that. He's had that one save to make, but it's just mainly been his handling's been absolutely spot on, hasn't he? He's came and got everything. This is now Ceballos trying to clip it through towards Martinelli. This is Jacob Murphy now. And then he just stands strong, but it's going to be brought back for a free kick. Sean Longstaff might leave for Murphy. Instead, it's all going to be left for John Joe Shelvey. And the centre-backs go forward.
Of course, currently it's the same score as it was in the FA Cup as well, although that did take extra time. But Arsenal continuing on the fact that they haven't even conceded against Newcastle this season.
Yeah. This is Shelby. Sends it in. Headed away by Chambers. Going to be picked up by Willian. 20 minutes to go here at St James's Park. Sunny St James's Park at the moment. This is Matt Ritchie now. What can he do? Gives it away. Picked up by Aubameyang. This is now an Arsenal counter-attack. It's a 4-on-4. Aubameyang, can he find the right pass? He does. He finds Odegaard. Odegaard slips it into Bellerin. Bellerin! Deflected. Good block by Federico Fernandez in the end. But that is what Arsenal can do on the counter. Great play by the Gunners.
Yeah, I don't think that was going to be on target from Bellerin, but it was great play from Arsenal there. Bellerin on the overlap, as he likes to do. And it was a good opportunity there to maybe put the ball across and set it on a plate for somebody. But looks like Newcastle are getting a substitution ready. One of the strikers, Joe Linton's going to come on.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see who Joe Linton comes on for. I'll be disappointed if it was for Callum Wilson, but we'll have to see. This is Willian to take. Willian whips it in. Gabriel, this time beaten in the air. Comes out to Martinelli. He finds Odegaard. Odegaard finds Willian. Willian's onside. Willian to the byline. Sends it in. Acrobatic clearance. Back in. Gabriel. Picked up by Elneny. And then smashed back in by Granit Xhaka. But well wide in the end.
Granit Xhaka can hit him from there.
He can score from there. He can score from there, in fairness. But not on that occasion.
And I think Russ wants to come in just while we've got a goal kick as well. Big breaking news on this game with Man U and Liverpool, which is taking place later. It's massive news now.
Yes, big breaking news. Premier League refereeing team haven't been able to get into Old Trafford. Questions being raised about COVID bubble breaches amongst Premier League and Manchester United officials. And Liverpool's came in as safe in Liverpool's dressing room to get the kit ready, up and ready. It's just the Man United dressing room which is being breached. It looks like another Liverpool dressing room. That's breaking news just then. So, Premier League refereeing team haven't been able to get into Old Trafford. Question being raised about COVID bubble breaches amongst Premier League and Manchester United officials.
Well, I am baffled by the two changes Newcastle have just made. Federico Fernandez has gone off for Fabian Schär, and on comes Joe Linton for Almiron. So it'll be interesting to see what the formation is. Schär is better on the ball and straight away drives a very good ball in the direction of Joe Linton.
Looks like Newcastle have gone up definitely with two up top, yeah.
Murphy finds St Maximan. St Maximan clips one in the box. It's Wilson. It doesn't reach him. And it comes to Aubameyang now. And Aubameyang finds Odegaard. Yeah, it was good defending. And this is Aubameyang. What can he do? He's going to slow it all down in no rush whatsoever. And why not? And it's Newcastle coming to get the ball back. He has, yeah. He's done his job.
And Chambers has come in and he's done very well. He's not been troubled so far. And what he's had to do, he's done comfortable enough, yeah.
Xhaka finds Elneny into Ceballos. It's also easy for Arsenal. Ceballos finds Martinelli. And Martinelli pulls it back into Granit Xhaka. He finds Odegaard, who been really impressed with in the second half. Actually, Odegaard was a bit quiet in the first half, but he's really picking up the pockets of space now and starting to dictate play. That's a really nice ball from him there. Finds Martinelli, who's hugging this touchline. Going to take on Murphy. Skips by two. And
he pulls the string in pulls the strings very well in midfield there, does Odegaard.
Yeah.
In that number 10 role. Certainly a much better player than past Arsenal number 10s, in my opinion. He's certainly got a very good work rate. And he's, you can see where he is now. He's kind of dropped back into central mid there just for a minute.
Willian trying to slide it through, but Paul Dummett stands where Kieran Clark stands strong. Wilson beaten in the air by Callum Chambers. Callum Wilson had so little to feed off, just long balls launched up to him, expected to hold it up, but that's what it's been like for him all season. And hopefully something changes next year because he looks a very frustrated figure at times. Martinelli finds Ceballos. Ceballos into Callum Chambers. Chambers lays it into the path of Hector Bellerin. Only played one of the last 8 league games before this one, Hector Bellerin. You did mention in the first half that he seems to have been ignored, but I don't think his performance would have done him any harm going into Thursday this afternoon.
No, and I think if Callum Chambers does play at centre back, then of course that opens it up for Bellerin to play at right back as well. So this might work in Bellerin's favour for Thursday night with David Luiz's injury. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to work out what Newcastle do. I mean, Paul Dummett's gone to left back. It looks like Matt Ritchie's on the left wing. And I think Jacob Murphy's playing right wing. And on Cher is at right. No, Jacob Murphy's at right back. And Joe Linton is playing on the right wing. That's what it seems to be. El Neni into Odegaard. Odegaard finds, well, only as far as Joe Linton, but it's back with El Neni. And he finds Bellerin. Definitely more goals in this one for Arsenal if they want them. Odegaard. Willian travelling inside. Matt Ritchie harrying and hustling, but it's too easy in the end, really.
I was just going to say, it's already 7 goals for Arsenal in the 3 fixtures this season and without reply. So I'll just have to wait and see whether Newcastle can get a goal in this game and make it, a bit more of a kind of competitive match in the remaining, 15 or so minutes.
Yeah, Odegaard looking to take on Shelvey. Slips it into Aubameyang, trying to roll his way through. He's lost it on the edge of the area there, Cher, but it's hammered away. And Arsenal come again. You wouldn't be able to tell who the team was 2-0 down, got to be honest, in terms of the intent. This is Willian. Slips it into Hector Bellerin. Bellerin finds Willian again. It's all very, very slow. No pressing really from those in black and white. Odegaard into El Neni. Willian just allowed to knock it around at will. Chambers now fires a brilliant ball in the direction of Martinelli, who just can't keep it in.
Yeah, it was a delightful ball across from Cunningham Chambers towards Martinelli. He's got a lot of pace as the Brazilian as well, and you thought he might have just been able to control it there, but he wasn't quite able to. But very well played from Cunningham Chambers to switch the play across to him, and been very, very impressed with Cunningham Chambers since he come on, yeah.
Oh, it looks like we've got some more big news. Russ, do you want to come in?
Yeah, yes, I do. And fans are back inside Old Trafford, as we can see on the pictures with the banners and flares. Riot police have come into the stadium, and in the last few minutes, I can tell you, Manchester United and Liverpool now have no planned time for departure from their hotels. Read into that whatever you like. But if the game does go ahead, I can bring you the team news for Manchester United. It's Henderson, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Fred, McTominay, Pogba, Fernandes, Greenwood and Rashford, the starting line of Manchester United. And if he goes ahead, the Liverpool team, Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Phillips, Kabak, Fabinho, Milner, Thiago, Mane, Salah and Firmino are the starting lineups. If the match goes ahead, I'll bring you any more news as and when I get it.
Arsenal have made a change. Off goes Aubameyang. Good afternoon's work for the Gabon captain. And on comes Nicola Pepe, who did play as a...
He played as a
false forward, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's on the left wing at the moment. And Martinelli looks like to be the striker, which makes more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I did say that Aubameyang wouldn't last the 90 minutes in this game. And, just kind of giving him a bit of time there to kind of recover on the back of a good 77, 78 minutes, got himself a goal as well, and is hopefully going to be in good stead now for the Europa League game at the Emirates Stadium on Thursday. But Nicola Pepe there, of course, played through the middle on Thursday just gone, and it'd be good to have Aubameyang as an actual direct striker, because as much as Pepe was quite lively, you do miss having Aubameyang there, and as I said before, Lacazette doesn't look like he'll be ready.
No, definitely not. So, it's been a good afternoon's work, and Arsenal just knocking it around nicely again, and they work it out well here to Odegaard. Odegaard looking to travel and find Bellerin. Bellerin plays it back into Martin Odegaard. Odegaard trying to reverse the ball through, but Newcastle come away with it. Ball played into Saint-Maximin. He finds Matt Ritchie. And this is Dummett now. Back into Ritchie. Ritchie looks up. Can he get out of his feet? In the end, he just slips it into John Joe Shelvey, who plays it back to Dummett. And this is now Longstaff into Cher. Cher drills it into Joe Linton. Longstaff again. Takes a bit of a slight contact by Ceballos and quickly gets us underway. Finds Murphy. Murphy looks up. Only got one man in there and finds Joe Linton. Joe Linton trying to work the space for a shot. Pulls it back to Shelvey. and it hits Callum Wilson, and then Chambers tries to get rid of it, and in the end, he does well enough, Callum Chambers, to win his side a goal kick. That was a bit better from Newcastle, although it looked like Murphy's ball should have been cut out. Came to Joe Linton, find Shelvey, and it was a good block in the end.
Yeah, it was a good play from Newcastle there to get it across, and Shelvey's shot there was well blocked, I think, by Callum Chambers originally, and then he does well just to get it behind off of Callum Wilson for a goal kick as well. And very good defending again from Callum Chambers, who come in, of course, for David Luiz earlier on in this half, and he's done certainly no harm in his opportunity for getting some minutes in Thursday night's game as well. But Newcastle have started to turn the screw a little bit now in the last few minutes, and just have to wait and see what happens in the next. If Newcastle get the next goal, then it's could be a really interesting and entertaining end to the game.
Yeah, it could be, because they've not really approached this game right at all, to be honest. But ball played forward by Matt Ryan, flicked on by Pepe in the end, but going to run through for Share back to Martin Dubravka on his 99th Newcastle appearance. Finds Paul Dummett into Matt Ritchie. Got Dummett on the overlap, and in the end, just going to probably find Sean Longstaff. Longstaff is a bit of a loose touch, but then fires it out in the direction of Joe Linton, but a bit too much on that. Good idea by Longstaff, but not quite the execution. Yeah,
it was a good play, trying to find the ball across there, and just going to Joe Willock now, the man that's on loan at Newcastle from Arsenal.
Well, I was
just going to say, if he is decided to let go by Mikel Arteta, would you keep him at Newcastle? Would you try and sign him on a permanent?
To be fair, I don't think he's actually been used well enough by Bruce, to be honest. Looks like kickoff at Old Trafford is delayed, but I don't think he's been used well enough by Bruce, to be honest. Use him on the bench and what have you, but he's got a knack for scoring goals, and in a team like Newcastle, I don't get enough goals from midfield. I think, I would love to sign him. I heard rumours of 20 million, but then I was looking at Arteta's press conference, his press conference before this game, and it seems like he wants to keep Willock. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up playing for Arsenal next season. But we'll have to see what happens. But I really like him, and he seems really enjoying his time at Newcastle as well, which is the important thing.
There's been some games where he's been really involved for Arsenal in the league and Europa League, and he's looked very, very good. And Arsenal do miss a midfielder of Joe Willock when he's not in the squad, and there's some games where he's had a big impact for the club, and be interested to see if he does stick around next season at Arsenal. I would like to see him get some minutes personally, and see what he can do in there.
Ritchie sends it in and headed away by Xhaka.
I was just saying,
wins the header.
I would like to see what Willock can do on a more sort of week by week basis. Yeah, exactly. We'll have to see. What happens, but he's definitely been a good addition for Newcastle, and in the end, his goals are probably going to keep them in the Premier League. Ball clipped out here to Xhaka. Joe Linton gets in there. Now looking to take on Nicola Pepe. Joe Linton does well, holds it up, needs some help. He's got Murphy with him, and in the end, he sort of loosely passes it to Murphy, but it does get there. And Murphy back to Longstaff. St Maximan's out drop ever so deeper, and now he hits it, St Maximan, and he hits it into the River Tyne. Wasteful. That was absolutely right into the river there. 100%. And we were just saying about Joe Willock. What I was going to say is the goal against Tottenham as well that he scored. He got the equaliser in that game for Newcastle, didn't he? And Arsenal fans were very pleased to see him score against the North London rivals, as it looks like Arsenal are going to get a sub ready, and Newcastle just made a sub there as well.
Yeah, so Dwight Gale is on, former Arsenal youth prospect, 1 goal and 1 assist this season in 14 league appearances. He's never actually scored against Arsenal. And on comes Thomas Partey, who, maybe had an inconsistent start of life, maybe in North London, but I've been ever so impressed with him every single game as time goes by. And when you're looking to see out a game, he's probably the ideal player you want to bring on, really, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. I think at the start he was, had quite a few issues with injuries. He was out. There was that one game against Man United. I think it was his first game. He played very well, and he was rushed back for the Tottenham game, the North London derby, and then he kind of got injured on the back of that. And there's been moments where he's looked very bright and defended very, very well and helped the team out. But then there's been moments where he's had sort of kind of fairly lengthy injuries in this spell as well. So just have to try and keep him fit and keep him fresh.
Here's Willian and Newcastle now playing a 3 at the back with Cher, Dummett and Ritchie. So there's definitely going to be spaces to open up. Lovely skill by Nicola Pepe. And he's into the box, Pepe, and he's trying to get the byline. And in the end, Murphy's done just enough to see him out. And this is now back to Longstaff. Murphy again gets up and then fires it forward to Wilson, who again has just got to deal with a long ball forward. No one anywhere near him, and Arsenal have the ball back. Must be so frustrating for Callum Wilson.
Yeah, he's been very isolated, isn't he, Callum Wilson? He's had no support really at all in this game, yeah.
This is now Chambers. Just under 5 minutes to go here. And it looks like it's going to be a very, very comfortable Arsenal victory.
A needed Arsenal victory as well on the back of the last few weeks.
Yeah, totally, definitely. This is Dummett into Fabian Cher. Cher back to Dummett. Tell you what, though, if St James's Park was full for a game like this, the fans would be fuming, I think is the word.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they'd be very pleased with that performance at all. So Maximin has looked like trying to make things happen, but other than him, there's not too many other Newcastle players that have been that good really in this game. A lot of them are, sort of Newcastle have been second best.
I think a lot of them are on the beach, to be honest. I think that they know they're probably safe, so it's just about trying to think about next season. This is now El Neni bursting through a very, very weak challenge by Longstaff. He's got Ceballos on the overlap. He finds the Spaniard. What can he do? Slips it in towards Pepe, and away comes Sean Longstaff with the ball. Back to Dummett, into Jacob Murphy. Murphy looks up, drills it forward.
You said about Ceballos before. Ceballos, I think he's looked okay today, but he wants to go back to Spain, and that was kind of proven on Thursday night. Mikel Arteta, at half-time said to him, be careful, don't do anything stupid, don't do anything rash. And then 5-10 minutes later, he's gone against his manager, and he's really put pressure on his side there. And luckily, Arsenal were able to get an away goal from the penalty spot and still be in the tie.
Oh, lovely touch by Mikel Arteta there. Just ball smashed away by Ryan, and he just dinked it into the hands of Jacob Murphy. Still got it.
Yeah, it was rolling back the years there, the Arsenal manager. Yeah, that's for sure.
Paul Dummett into Matt Ritchie. Ritchie looking to drive forward. One thing you never see about Matt Ritchie is doesn't always play the best, but he never, ever gives less than 100%, and he's always shouting and berating. And it's one of the reasons that, again, Newcastle fans do like him so much. This is Longstaff into Jacob Murphy. Back to Longstaff once more. Is he going to be forced backwards? He is. Finds Dummett. Can Newcastle just create one chance? No, they give the ball away there. Longstaff finds Ritchie. So Maximan's on the run. Is he just going to put the cross in? Ritchie looks up. Now delivers. Ritchie sends it in the box. It's over Matt Ryan. Oh, Matt Ryan again. That was a really good ball into the area, but Matt Ryan's come out and claimed it. And that's what he's done, especially in the second half, very, very well, because Ritchie's put in a few good crosses and Ryan's done his job.
Yeah, and of course, as I said before, Bernd Leno has made a few mistakes this season. Matt Ryan there, very comfortable goalkeeper. In his time at Brighton, he was one of the better goalkeepers in the league. And he's shown that, again here in an Arsenal shirt. And every time he's played in an Arsenal shirt, for me, he's looked certainly, one of the sort of standout players since he's come in. And I certainly, as I said before, we'll keep him for next year. He's certainly a better number 2 than Runnison, who's still around. And I think that's why Matt Ryan was registered in the squad for the Europa, and Runnison was kind of, taken out of it, because Matt Ryan is a lot more experienced and knows what he's doing in regards to some of these bigger games. Yeah.
Succession of huge tackles in the midfield area there, and then Murphy just gives it away. But Cher was so close to being caught out, and then Dummett came in with a full-blooded challenge. Also in the 89th minute. So, Mike, can we get your man of the match? I would assume it's an Arsenal.
Yeah, I think for me today, I could have given it to a number of players. I think El Neni was up there. I think Martinelli's been very good. But I'm going to go with Gabriel, the centre-back. I thought Gabriel has been very lively today in regards to, the defensive side. I thought he's defended very, very well. And he's had to deal with having David Luiz there at 1 minute, and he's had to have Callum Chambers alongside him for the second part of it as well. So Gabriel Martinelli was mentioned, as I said, as was El Neni, who I thought was great. And El Neni was literally a smidge away from getting it, but I thought Gabriel, for his defensive work, probably just about deserves it for me today.
Fabian Schär's going to go in the book now. Oh, he's been sent off. Fabian Schär's been sent off by Mike Dean. He came flying through the back, and on his return from injury, Fabian Schär is going off, and the day goes from bad to worse for Newcastle United. It didn't look like a red card to me. Martinelli, it doesn't look like he's in a bit of trouble though. Martinelli, Williams looks, pretty annoyed with Schär. Bit of frustration maybe from the Swiss, but I don't know. I mean, initially I didn't think it was a red card, but we'll have to see. It's a bad tackle. It is a bad tackle by Fabian Schär. Partey slides it into him, and he comes crunching through the back of him. But I don't know if that's a red card, personally.
I think they'll VAR check this one more than likely, and I do think they'll possibly go and overturn it. Wouldn't be the first time it's been a red card in this fixture and overturned this season, even with Smith Rowe, as I mentioned before, in the FA Cup. But Martinelli does look in pain there, and of course that's another one who I mentioned was fantastic today. Starting for a rare occurrence, getting a full 90 as well by the looks of it, and I do think they're going to go to VAR with this Fabian Schär one, and probably I'd be surprised if they didn't overturn it.
Well, I mean, I would, but we know what VAR's like. We don't actually know what they're going to come up with, but we'll have to see what they say. I don't know if the check's happened. Schär's walking off.
Yeah, it looks like
already the check.
It looks like it's happened, and he's going to be ending this game, watching it on from the dressing room. Yeah.
Well, that could be almost the end of his Newcastle career because his contract is up at the end of the season. So he'll be coming back with only one game left, unless they obviously get his ban overturned. Doesn't look very happy, but compounds the misery for Newcastle, really. And winter stoppage time now. There's 4 minutes added on. Arsenal looks like Martinelli's going to be fine to continue, which is good because after the injury problems he's had, it's good to see that he's fine.
He's hobbling a little bit, but I think he should.
He is hobbling a little bit, yeah.
Should be able to walk it on.
I think if it was anything serious, they would have just subbed him off, wouldn't they? Because
well, I don't know.
For 2 minutes.
No, because Arsenal can't. Because obviously Chambers came on, Pepe came on, and Partey came on. So all of the subs have been made.
Yeah. To be fair. Right, fair enough. Shelvey has dropped into that centre-back role, which he actually played weirdly against Liverpool last week in the second half for the remainder of the game. This is Xhaka. Xhaka finds Ceballos. Ceballos into Xhaka. Well, it looks like Arsenal's incredible run over Newcastle is going to continue.
It's a good away record for Arsenal as well. This is the longest unbeaten league away run under Arteta. Going to 5 games, it'd be 3 wins and 2 draws, earning I think it's 27 points away from home as well, which is going to be, I think it's going to be 5 more than at the Emirates Stadium.
Yeah, it's been a feature of this season, hasn't it? Without crowds, a lot of teams have struggled at home.
Yeah.
This game is pretty much just petering out now. Gabriel is literally walking with the ball, and Callum Wilson has no interest in chasing him down. Bellerin back to Chambers. And this is now Gabriel, as voted for by Mike as our man of the match.
It was a close one though. Could have been Martinelli, could have been El Neni as well. Could have been Odegaard. There was 3 or 4 other names in there too. Yeah.
Willian into Partey, back to Pepe. Just blow the whistle, Rush. Into Chambers, finds Gabriel, and there goes. Well, I thought looked like Mike Dean was going to blow his whistle, but Gabriel loses it. Wilson trying to get in there. Might drop for Pepe here. Pepe brings it down and is then not fouled.
Yeah, I thought that was a foul. I'm not too sure why that wasn't given personally. Yeah.
Partey finds El Neni into Willian. Willian back to Bellerin. Bellerin into Partey.
Carrying on here with a little bit extra overtime. I think that's because of the red card.
I guess because Schär got the red card, didn't it? Yeah. This is now Xhaka, who Newcastle have not troubled enough in that unfamiliar left-back role for my liking, to be honest.
Granit Xhaka's been pretty solid at left back since he's come in to replace Kieran Tierney, though.
No, totally. I mean, I was saying that. I think I did the Slavia Prague game and I was impressed with him then, but he's not a natural left back. You just think that you have someone running at him or making him do something that he's not actually comfortable doing. But it doesn't seem like any team who I've seen come up against Arsenal with Xhaka left back have done that.
Nah, Nico, I was going to be pleased with this, not just this result, but the fact he's got Aubameyang some
clean sheet as well.
Clean sheet. Aubameyang's got some minutes. He hasn't had to use Smith Rowe or Saka, who have sat it out. Thomas Partey and Pepe got on and got some minutes as well, ready for the next game. I think the only downside is going to be David Luiz
exactly.
He's injured. Yeah,
that's all I was going to say. But it sets it up nicely for Thursday. It's probably what Arsenal needed. Pretty much a stroll in the park for them. They've not to get out of second gear, to be honest, and they're now just knocking it around. And Newcastle have no interest in trying to win the ball back. It's El Neni, Saint-Maximin filling at left back for now. Finds Willian. I've got to say, although many Arsenal players have been good, I've not been impressed with Willian at all, as he just sends the ball straight out of play there. And I'd be very surprised if that wasn't the end of the game. And there is the full-time whistle. So final score here at St James's Park is Newcastle United 2, Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 2. Goals from Mohamed El Neni and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang continue the Gunners' absolutely ridiculous record against the two. And Steve Bruce's side, well, they didn't even try, really, to be honest. Barely got off first game themselves.
It was a poor performance.
It was a very easy game for Arsenal. Yeah,
very flat from
really poor performance. Today. Especially going into the game with good form. Against an Arsenal side who weren't in good form either. So, it was an opportunity for them to get something over Arsenal and give their fans something to shout about. But in the end, nothing doing. El Neni with his first ever Premier League goal, incredibly, give the Gunners the lead. And then it was a lovely goal, the second one, in fairness. Brilliantly constructed. Fantastic cross by Martinelli. Aubameyang came flying at the back post. And then just to make things worse for Newcastle, Fabian Schär got sent off for a bad challenge on Martinelli. But the final score here at St James's Park is Newcastle United 0, Arsenal 2.
Thank you very much, Jack. And some more breaking news from Arsenal. Not from Arsenal, from Manchester United versus Liverpool. There's going to be a 4 p.m. meeting with Manchester United, Liverpool and the Premier League, with looks likely to be a 6:30 p.m. kick-off for that game this afternoon. Michael Oliver is now inside the ground at Old Trafford, so it looks like it could be a 6:30 kick-off, and then the Tottenham game maybe delay, not then Tottenham game kicking off at the same time that should have kicked off, but we'll keep you up to date with what's going to be happening on the Manchester United game. We'll stay on a bit longer just to keep you across that one, and we'll review this game today. As soon as we get official confirmation of what time Manchester United versus Liverpool kicks off, we will bring it to you first and let you know as and when we get it. But going back to this game, which we are covering today, and we'll come to Mike Harniman. And Mike, you gave your man of the match to Gabriel, the centre-back for Arsenal. You said there could have been a number of players which could have got the man of the match award, but what made Gabriel, the Arsenal centre-back, stand out for you, Mike, this afternoon?
I just thought he played very, very well. I thought he was solid in his defending. Didn't do anything stupid, didn't make any rash decisions, anything like that. Of course, he started off partnering David Luiz, and then he had to kind of adjust when Callum Chambers come on a little bit as well. Got a couple of really good blocks in there. I thought he was solid today. It was Gabriel. But then there was, as I mentioned, I could have given it to Odegaard, to the likes of El Neni as well, and also I could have given it to Matt Ryan possibly was solid as well. Who else? So there was a couple of players there from Arsenal. Martinelli. There was 3 or 4 others, but I thought Gabriel for his defending did very well today, and sort of a good shout for man of the match. It's hard to know from a Newcastle perspective if I was to give them anyone, but I think Joe Linton's the only one really that looked like making anything happen for them. So he would probably be my only one that I'd mention from a Newcastle stamp. But for Arsenal, Gabriel was solid and defended very well, so he got my vote because of that.
Yes, thank you very much there, Mike. And Jack, if you was looking for man of the match, today, if you had to choose one, would you have gone with Gabriel as well, or would you have gone with a different Arsenal player, or would you have gone with a Newcastle man? Who would have
I,
been your
def-
choice?
I definitely wouldn't have gone for a Newcastle player. But yeah, no, I thought Gabriel was a good choice because I thought he dealt with Callum Wilson is such an explosive striker and he had nothing to feed off in fairness, but Gabriel dealt with him really well. He dealt with Maximan really well as well. There was a few times when he was trying to take him on one. So yeah, it was a good choice by Mike. I think El Neni was another one, not just because of the goal, because of his all-round defensive work and passing as well. So maybe El Neni, but yeah, I thought Gabriel was a good choice. Thought overall Arsenal played well. Second goal was gorgeously constructed. You know what I mean? But it was too easy for them. It was. I mean, I feel that if obviously, with fans, you don't know what it would have been like. But I certainly think a full St James's Park would not have accepted that performance because they didn't even they just give up after about 60 minutes. They didn't even try and win the ball back. They didn't even try and lay a glove on Arsenal. You had one shot that caused Ryan to make a save. So yeah, it was just a really, really bad performance by Newcastle. But on the other hand, for Arsenal, you can't argue they came and did their job. As I said, two great goals in fairness, and it's the perfect setup for Thursday.
Yes, perfect setup for Thursday for Arsenal going into that second leg. Mike, going to touch on that second leg briefly for a moment. If you were Mikel Arteta looking to that second leg after that performance today, if anyone out of this team today would be possibly in the mind of Arteta who played today from any position, who would you probably say would stand out to have a really good chance of getting into that Europa League side on Thursday?
Well, I think Gabriel and Mohamed El-Neni will both start on the back of this performance, and of course David Luiz is going to be out now as well. And Danny Ceballos was out anyway for that fixture because of his red card. So yeah, those two will both start. I think Aubameyang, hopefully, now he's got 75, 77 minutes, whatever it was, under his belt in this game, will have more of an opportunity as well and a good chance to start that game. And of course, I'm sure there'll be changes to the front line as well. I think Odegaard will stay in, but I think there might be changes. Pepe will come in, Partey will come in. Probably Saka, probably Smith Rowe will come in somewhere as well. And there'll be changes in that lineup. But I do think Gabriel and El-Neni have certainly done enough to get into that side for Thursday's game.
Yes, and I'll just quickly run through the team news again for the game, which should be kicking off in half an hour, which could be delayed till about 6:30 this evening at Old Trafford for Manchester United and Liverpool. And just a reminder, fans broke into the stadium onto the Old Trafford turf in protest against the Glazers, which were after they put them into the European Super League, which are now withdrawn from. They'll be protesting against them. So I just want to say the team news for both teams, starting off with Manchester United, is in goal, Dean Henderson, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Aaron Maguire, Luke Shaw, Fred and Scott McTominay, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, and Mason Greenwood. The bench is De Gea, Bailly, Telles, Williams, Twanzebe, Mata, Matic, Van der Beek, and Edison Cavani for Liverpool, Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Nathaniel Phillips, Ozan Kabak, Andy Robertson, Fabinho, Thiago, James Milner, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah the bench, Adrian Timiskas, Reece Williams, Wijnaldum, Keita, Oxlade, Chamberlain, Jones, Shaqiri, and Jota there as well. And as you can see, some of the fans, as we were just seeing there, fans leaving some fans will manage to get into up the tunnel area and towards one of the dressing rooms, walking across the banners there. That they've got Elder West, one that says United against racism, not on there. You can see the riot police, which just seen pictures from earlier on inside Old Trafford. They're making their way back up from there. I've just seen the riot police come walking down the tunnel, near the tunnel area and across where the dugouts are to fetch him away. You can see some leaving the ground from earlier on as well, from being inside Old Trafford. Kick-off is delayed. You can see the pitch out and ready to go. I'm waiting for official confirmation as what time that kick-off will be. And once we do get official confirmation of the kick-off time, we'll bring it to you first. That's why we're staying on a little bit longer than what we normally would after our lunchtime, after our afternoon kick-off at 2 o'clock. Today, we'll keep you up to date with that. And you've just seen pictures again there, Jack, and disturbing scenes inside Old Trafford with the fans on the pitch and then having to be led away by riot police and everything. But with kick-off being delayed, what sort of a reasonable kick-off time would you give it? Would you say 6:30 is one which has been mentioned is a reasonable one, or would you give it a bit longer, Jack? What would you
I
say on the
mean,
kick-off time?
yeah, I mean, I guess you've got to. There's got to be a point where you probably have to postpone it for maybe you play tomorrow night or something. At a point, if it's not safe, within maybe an hour, something like that. So I guess it just depends on how safe it is and if the players are there and what have you. But I wouldn't be surprised if, I know they're saying it's delayed, but I genuinely would be surprised if maybe the police step in or and say that it's not safe enough to play today, got to play it another time. But going back, I just don't understand how it was so easy for them to get on the pitch. Just don't understand it at all.
Yeah, what happened where, Jeff, from what I can gather from what I've been reading, they managed to break the barriers at the away end at Old Trafford and managed to force their way through there. I've seen a photo which Stan Collymore has tweeted, and he actually put out where a photo of one of the area where they managed to get in, and it looked like they have burnt one of the boards to where to go the gates to get into the ground. Well, they said to to open it up so they could get into the stadium at Old Trafford this afternoon. So very interesting how that happened if there's been no security around them. What I've been reading as well, one of the broadcast cameras from whether it's one of the whether it's a TV company over here which should be showing the game or one of the other TV companies, whether they've shown where broke one of the broadcast cameras at Old Trafford, the fans, they chucked it onto the pitch and then whoever did it just walked onto the pitch and stood right next to it, and it looked as though he was about to stamp on it as well, the broadcast cameras. So one of the broadcast cameras have been broken at Old Trafford as well, and very disturbing scenes there. We're still awaiting official news on what time that game will kick off. And Mike Harniman, you saw scenes again a few moments ago from the TV pictures that we have got in our respective studios. Due to this ongoing COVID pandemic, we cannot be at games, but very disturbing pictures, wouldn't you say, Mike? And how long do you reckon it'll be before they can delay? Do you reckon the half 6 kick-off time will be the latest they can play tonight?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy when you just look at it there. Obviously, we understand why they're protesting and everything like that. They've got a right to protest. I understand that, and I'd probably be in a similar kind of situation. Being an Arsenal fan, we've done their sort of a protest of our own, and a lot more peacefully than what Man United have. But yeah, if this game is going to take place tonight, it'll probably be 6:30, something like that. Of course, Tottenham play at 7:15 as well, so maybe they might put it back so that they kick off simultaneously at the same time. But I don't know about other days for fixtures as well. I was looking. There's 2 games tomorrow. Of course, Man United have got their second leg as well on Thursday. So it's I'm not too sure whether it would have to be played sort of before that. Maybe on I don't know whether they'll play it tomorrow, whether they'll play it sort of Tuesday. I don't know when they could play it really. Otherwise, or whether there's I don't know. But I think it will probably take place tonight, and I think it will probably be about 6:30, maybe 7 o'clock. Or maybe if they want to put it simultaneously with Spurs, that'd be the last option. Yeah.
Yes, it'd be interesting when they will play then, Mike, as you mentioned, because as we say, they've got that Europa League game on Thursday. They could potentially play Tuesday, then like with Rotherham in the Championship. I know it's a different scenario compared to a Rotherham's where Rotherham had COVID and had to be rescheduled the matches. We could potentially play Tuesday, then play the Europa League game on the Thursday. Be interesting.
And I think if
That's
that's the case, if they do play on Tuesday, because they're 6-2 up anyway, it won't affect them too much. So, if it was a game that's more in the balance, then it would be hard to kind of justify that. But because they're quite, far ahead anyway, Man United, and probably should go through, to play it on Tuesday probably would suffice on this occasion.
Yes, or potentially what they could do, they could play, because the first game tomorrow is at 6 o'clock. What they could do if they decide to delay till tomorrow, play to say 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at Old Trafford, then have 3 games back to back on Sky on the TV pictures.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Of course, it's bank holiday Monday as well, and sometimes
Bank
on
holiday
bank
Monday, so
holiday over Easter and stuff they do that. So that's certainly an option. Yeah.
they could play tomorrow before the other 2 matches. Or they could, like you say, might put it simultaneously tonight. And if that's the case, put the Man United Liverpool game on one of the channels and the Tottenham game on the other one of the channels on the TV companies that they've got, so they can show both at the same time. And it'd be interesting to see if that is the case, how many do watch that game. We're yet to hear officially on what time the match will kick off. We'll bring you any updates that we can get for you. Some news which Gary Neville has had to say. He says, this is a consequence of the Manchester United owners' actions 2 weeks ago. There's a general distrust and dislike of the owners, but they weren't protesting 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Jamie Carragher as well has also come out and said the ownership only have themselves to blame for this, and he defends the Man United fans for doing what they've done, but for protesting. But I don't think he's defends them from coming onto the pitch. And
What
that,
I will say, just briefly as well, I know the government were going to intervene, or we're looking at intervening in regards to the ownership. I think this might kind of force their hand a little bit. They might have to do that a lot sooner than what they were planning to.
yes, I would tend to agree with you there, Mike. I think you're quite right. There's still no official word on what time this game will kick off. As soon as we do get any information, we will let you know here on Football Commentary Live. We're going to be staying with you until we get official confirmation of what time this game will kick off this evening. We'll try and bring you all the latest as we can, and some breaking news just reaching me from Stan Collymore. It says, today's referee Michael Oliver is now at Old Trafford with his team involved in the club's Premier League decision-making process. His dressing rooms are 100% safe and sanitary, so his room is safe. So it'd be interesting how this game will be, when this game will be finalised. So that's just some news there. And I've seen a few tweets today which makes a bit of a joke of what's happening with regards to one of the Man United players. And some Man United fans have said their fans have spent more time on the pitch at Old Trafford than one of the signings that they made in Donny van den Beek. Because Donny van den Beek has not really featured much this season for Manchester United in the Premier League or in any competition. And Man United fans are spend more time on the pitch than him so far today. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, guys, Manchester United versus Liverpool delayed due to protests, and we'll bring you any news on that. We're not going to bring you that game. We're not going to cover that game, but we'll bring you any news on when that's going to kick off, so you know when to look out for it on your radio, on your TV, wherever you're going to be listening to this throughout the afternoon. So we'll bring you up to date with that news, any news that we get when kick-off is going to be. We'll stay with you we'll probably stay with you, in fact, until possibly about 4:30 to make, and then if we get any news, then we will bring it to you after that. You'll have to find it elsewhere, any news, but we'll stay with you for another 15 minutes or so then we can all get off to do what we have got planned for this afternoon. The game which we have covered is the game between Newcastle and Arsenal. That is now finished. I'll put you there. That scoreline across the bottom for the game that we have just covered, so you know what's happened in that one. But Manchester United Liverpool kickoff has been delayed, and we'll bring you any news on when that is going to be if this news comes in within the next 15 or so minutes. In fact, what we'll do, we'll probably stay until 5 o'clock and then we'll head off. Guys, if anyone wants to head off before then, that is fine. Just some going away from the news at Old Trafford, and some congratulations to Inter Milan. They've clinched their first Serie A title in 11 years, ending Juventus's 9-year dominance as Italian champions. They played earlier today, did Inter Milan. I'll just let you know how they went on this afternoon. Just other scores from this afternoon: Rangers won 4-1 against Celtic in the Women's Champions League. Barcelona beat PSG by 2-1, 3-2 in aggregate, and Chelsea are in the Women's Champions League final, beating Bayern Munich 4-1 this afternoon, 5-3 on aggregate. In the Women's Super League games, the results are Aston Villa 0, West Ham 0, Everton 1, Arsenal 2, Bristol City 0, Manchester United 1, Reading 3, Brighton 2, and the current score is Man City 2, Birmingham 0. In the Women's Championship, Blackburn 1, Sheffield United 2, Crystal Palace 2, Lewes 1, Durham 7, Coventry United 0, Leicester 4, Charlton 0, Liverpool 2, London City 2. There, Real Valladolid drew 1-1 with Real Betis in La Liga. Villarreal currently 0-0 with Getafe. In Serie A then, it finished Lazio 4, Genoa 3, Bologna 3, Fiorentina 3, Napoli 1, Cagliari 1, Sassuolo 1, Atalanta 1, Udinese take on Juventus at 5 o'clock with Sampdoria taking on Roma at 7:45 as well this afternoon. In the Dutch Eredivisie, congratulations to Ajax. They beat FC MN 4-0 this afternoon, and they have claimed the Dutch Eredivisie title as well. So congratulations to everyone connected with Ajax Football Club this afternoon with their game win and their title there as well. We're still waiting to hear any news on when the kickoff will be at Old Trafford. We'll let you know once we let you know. And a lot of people are saying Gary Neville has been brilliant once again, and some people are actually tweeting out in one particular person, a Fleetwood Town vlogger called Nappers, he has put Gary Neville for Prime Minister. A Leeds fan, which I never thought I'd see write these words since Leeds and Man United are rivals, has tweeted, Gary Neville, I love you. That's a Leeds United fan saying that there. And everyone, but some news which has come out from one of the papers, one of the reliable paper as well over here in England, in the Telegraph, is an exclusive by John Percy, one of the biggest players who know the biggest writers out there, which knows his stuff when it comes to that. Sheffield Wednesday on the day, John Chansiri is under renewed scrutiny after he was alleged he failed to pay the players before their crucial match against Nottingham Forest. Wednesday fighting for their lives in the Championship, scored a goalless draw with Forest on Saturday, setting up a monumental final day survival showdown with Derby. With Derby losing 2-1 at Swansea later on Saturday afternoon, Wednesday will preserve their status in the second tier if they beat Wayne Rooney's struggling team at Pride Park this weekend. But the series alleged failure to pay the players their April wages on Friday will come as a damaging blow to morale 25 hours for such a huge game in their recent history. It's alleged that Wednesday's players were also waiting for their wages from March. Wednesday were unavailable for comment this afternoon, but it isn't looking good for Sheffield Wednesday. The players have yet to be paid their April and March wages which they are owed this afternoon. I've just seen the comment there from Mike he says, I know the bank holiday and pubs are open, but Gary Neville for Prime Minister, think it's time he goes home and gets sobered up. That's towards Nappers, the Fleetwood Town vlogger, good vlogger as well. Just thought to bring just bits of news what people are saying from on the reaction to this. Liam Gallagher says, get the game on. Also, still waiting for official confirmation on when the game will go ahead. We are waiting that news from the Premier League. Any news that we get this afternoon, we'll bring it to you here on Football Commentary Live. We'll be with you till 5 o'clock this afternoon. Hopefully you're doing okay today. We'll bring you any news as we get. Any news as we get it. Just some news. I'm just reading on the Premier League blog. Just some news on the Arsenal game. Michael Owen has been watching this for TV this afternoon. He says Arsenal definitely look to Aubameyang for their goals in the big games and he's done it over the years. He's gone through a bit of a dry spell in recent times, and that's not like him. So if they can get him firing again, gives them a really good chance. He could get them to a European final. And Mike, judging on that statement there from Michael, in regards to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I'm just going back to the game which we have covered today, Mike. What do you make to Michael Owen's comment? Thoughts there? Did you hear what I said there, Mike? Or
yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think Aubameyang, last 2 seasons up until this season was fantastic, really, really good. And then this season he signed the contract and then gone off the boil really. And I think he's only scored 10 goals this season, which for him is nothing compared to what he scored in the other years. He was top goal scorer. Joint top goal scorer the first season. I think he was up there the second season as well. And then, this season he's just not been himself at all. Lacazette's been the player that has kind of got more of the goals really for Arsenal this season. And Aubameyang's, been playing out on the left-hand side as well. But when you play Aubameyang through the middle, he can pop up with a goal. And it's good that he's, got some minutes under his belt today. He got himself a goal as well. And hopefully that'll do him some confidence to take into Thursday's second leg. Of course, it's going to be an interesting tie because Villarreal, they do lead, and if Villarreal were to go on and get an away goal, then you don't know what's going to happen there. But Arsenal have got to start very strongly on Thursday, and to just attack from the off really, and really go for that, go for the kill on Thursday, because it was kind of similar to what was into the round before the Sparta Prague round, and. We drew the first one, and then we come out and we blitzed them within about 26 minutes. And if we do that again on Thursday, then we can certainly cause Villarreal some problems at the back, and Aubameyang will be a big part of that.
Yes, you say Aubameyang will be a big part of that, Mate. Yes, just thought I'd bring you back to the game which we have covered for a few moments till we get any official news. I've got the Premier League website up here in front of me, so any official news from the Premier League, I'll bring it to you and let you know. Just a bit of a stat from Premier League as well with regards to Newcastle, so I'll fetch Jack in on this in a couple of minutes as well, and I'll fetch you in it first though, Mike. And Newcastle have now lost 16 of their last 17 Premier League showdowns with Arsenal, bucking the trend with a 2-1 win in April 2018. And they've said it's not hard to see why. So their only shot on target in this game came in the 19th minute through St. Maxim. And very poor from Newcastle. That's the only shot on target. Would you have to agree with that, Mike?
Yeah, I thought Newcastle were pretty flat today, to be honest. I don't think they really had an awful lot about them. St. Maximin was their main sort of creative threat. Other than that, John Joe Shelby was, kind of a bit sloppy in midfield, gave the ball away a little bit, and Callum Wilson, was dealt with very, very well by Gabriel and David Luiz and Callum Chambers when he came on as well. I thought Arsenal had done very, very well to kind of limit Newcastle today in terms of opportunities, but Newcastle didn't do themselves any favours either in terms of, no what Arsenal are about. There was 8 changes, remember, from Arsenal's last game in the Europa League as well. There's not a settled squad there. Plenty of players, coming into that game that weren't, involved in the last game or haven't been involved in other games before that as well. And Newcastle really didn't cause Arsenal any problems at all. Just that one, as you mentioned, and it was a good save from Matt Ryan as well. But other than that, it was comfortable for Arsenal, and that was probably another deciding factor in Gabriel getting man of the match as well, because he'd done everything he needed to do quite comfortably and stopped St. Maximin from really creating too much for Newcastle and having too much of an impact himself. And I thought it was a good performance from Arsenal, but from Newcastle, they've got a lot to do, and you can sort of see why they're struggling. No disrespect to Newcastle as a club, but you can see why they're struggling because, St. Maximin, when he's kind of marshalled out of the game, there's not too many other players there that really can make an awful lot happen for the Geordies or for the Magpies. And, Almiron, had a few moments where he looks okay, but there's not anyone spectacular for Newcastle for me, apart from St. Maximin, who is their bright spark. But Arsenal defended very, very well, dealt with them very well, and big season for Newcastle next season. They're certainly going to be safe this year. There's no way they'll get drawn into it, which says a lot, considering a few weeks ago, or a few months back now, when I covered them in the 3-0 defeat to Brighton, I thought it could have gone down right to the final day of the season between Fulham and Newcastle, but Newcastle have certainly done enough to get themselves out of that, and were in good form as well leading up to this. Remember, being unbeaten in 4.
Yes, they were indeed, Mike. And Jack, I just want to fetch you in on that with that regards to Newcastle. That's that regarding Newcastle. They've now lost 16 of their last 17 Premier League showdowns with Arsenal, booking the trend in 2018. And they had one shot on target today through St. Maxim in the 19th minute. What's your thoughts on that? And how do you feel with that being a Newcastle fan? They've only shot on target coming in the 19th minute, 16 defeats in the last 17 against Arsenal in the Premier League, only win back in 2018. And only one shot on target today. Do you feel that's a big problem for Newcastle?
Well, the record against Arsenal is what it is. You know what I mean? I mean, for a long time, Arsenal have been competing in a different stratosphere to Newcastle. This season, I certainly think the fact we've played them 3 times and not scored a goal against not a great Arsenal side, to be honest. Pretty disappointing. It's just pathetic, really. I mean, it's what it's been all season. Last season wasn't much better, really. I mean, we did enough. We got 44 points, but there was very, very, very few good performances. So many players have gone backwards under Bruce. There's been some good signings, like some Maximin, like Wilson, but players who were brilliant under Benitez, like Cher, Lascelles, Sean Longstaff, Dummett, all of these players who were really, really good under Benitez, under a good coach, under a good manager, under someone who understands his players, have just gone nowhere. And there's only one man to blame, and it is Steve Bruce, to be honest.
And I've got a question just to follow on from
that go on.
Do you think it's probably the last 4 or 5 games for Steve Bruce? Do you reckon come the end of this season he probably will be relieved of his duties?
You would hope so, but Ashley doesn't listen to public opinion. He's done it many times. Ashley, you'll see 17th as a success. His only aim for Newcastle as a club is just to exist in the Premier League, essentially. It's pretty uninspiring, to be honest. It's beyond uninspiring. It's pretty hateful, really, for that to be the aim of the club. It depends on a takeover. I'm not saying the takeover because, as I said, that's been going on for well over a year now, and we're in a legal battle. I can't see anything coming of it, in my opinion. But a takeover, that's the only way anything will ever change at Newcastle. While Ashley's in charge, it'll always be the same. Even St James's Park, as the stadium's ran down, it needs some redoing. It needs some love. The training ground is absolutely embarrassing. I mean, there was a picture from 4 years ago, and they were getting ice baths in wheelie bins. You know what I mean? It's just a club that is unloved by its owner. He doesn't care. He sees it as a money-making machine for Sports Direct. You know, it's hard for Newcastle fans. I give up my season ticket 2 years ago now. I've not been to a Steve Bruce game as principal. Obviously, we haven't been able to go to games, for a long time. But before that, I didn't go to a game just under principle because to go from Rafa Benitez to Steve Bruce is bad enough. But then what's happened? I mean, what was that today? Like, I mean, obviously I was commentating on it, but what was that today? Like, what could either of you see what Newcastle were trying to do? There was no intent. They weren't trying to win the ball back. They couldn't defend. So what is it? And it's what it's been like all season. There's no progress whatsoever. Yeah, they've had some good results recently. They've probably kept us up, but that's nothing to do with the manager. That is the players coming together and showing some fight and determination. Now they're safe. There needs to be something. Well, they're not actually safe, to be fair, but they're probably safe. There is just nothing to be inspired about. And next season, if Bruce is in charge, we'll go down. That is it. That is it. Because Norwich will come up and will be better than they were last time. I can guarantee, for example, if Brentford come up, they've got an identity. They've got a manager who knows what he wants to do. Bruce's Newcastle are just they've got no identity. You've got no idea what they're trying to do on the pitch. There's no long-term progress. There's nothing. So, yeah, we might stay up this season, but if nothing changes, we'll go down next season. I think St James's Park, if it's full next season, will be an absolutely brutal place for Steve Bruce if he's in charge, to be honest, because he hasn't treated the fans well. I mean, he's dismissed us all as keyboard warriors and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, look, we'll have to see what happens. I want him gone. 90, I think the Chronicle did a survey. 95% of Newcastle fans wanted Bruce sacked. I can't imagine that's changed too much. It's just Ashley has never ever done anything that benefits Newcastle as a club. So, I would not be surprised if he's in charge next season.
Yes, I understand where you're coming from. From, as you know, I'm a Leeds United fan. For those who don't, Leeds United fan. We played you twice this season. We've beat you twice this season as well, and at home we beat you quite convincingly. Call you on the break a couple of times. Beat you away quite well as well. Call you on the break, and in that game, you got it back to 2, and you could see it actually broke through, and you could actually see where our attack against your defence was just superb. Leeds counter attack against that Newcastle defence. Newcastle didn't know who to pick up. We had 4 or 5 players running out. Yeah, you didn't know who to pick up. You know whether to go to the ball, which then left space for other players to go on end or to be unmarked, or you didn't know who to pick up. And if you come up against teams like that again next season, you already mentioned Norwich, Watford as well, who've got an identity coming up. Say if Barnsley come up through the playoffs, they've got an identity how they want to play. So it's very interesting how it's going to pan out for Newcastle going forward. Just some other updates. The corner flag that was picked up by the Manchester United fans have actually is now outside a few shops. Is near a cash machine, near a crossroad. We've took one of the corner flags away from Old Trafford and into the stands. You can see Old Trafford is now just looking across, trying to work out which corner flag they've taken. And looks like they've got a spare corner flag so the game can go ahead. But one of the corner flags is actually.
It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? When you think of, you understand why they're protesting and whatever. I've said that multiple times already tonight or today, but there's limits that you kind of should be kind of putting on yourself as fans, and and ways that you should be going about your process. And of course, breaking into the stadium was bad enough. Looks like it's all under control now, and they've been moved on, and there's good police presence there and stuff as well. So that's pretty good that they've managed to do that. But they should have had that, in regards to this game anyway. They know that both of these sides were going for the European Super League. They knew that both sides have had protests in recent weeks. Why didn't they plan ahead?
Yes, and when Liverpool, their protests happened when they played Leeds United at Ellen Road, and a lot of Liverpool fans came down. There was Arsenal fans there, there were Aston Villa, West Brom, West Ham, even a few Newcastle fans all turned up to that to protest against the Super League, to protest against the Liverpool owners. That was done peacefully. You mentioned Jack earlier, the Chelsea protest. That was done peacefully. Mike, you mentioned the Arsenal protest. That was done peacefully. The Man United protest. That's not done peacefully. They were supposed to do the protest on Thursday night, but they decided to do it today instead because of how big the game was against Roma, thinking they'd have still had a chance think it
Well,
might be similar to one
what I
yesterday.
will say is, of course, we touched on Arsenal's protest against Everton earlier. There's a big one planned for Thursday night and for the second leg as well against Villarreal. So they're going to have to increase the police presence up by the Emirates Stadium for that one on Thursday, because there was 5,000, might even have been about 6,000 last time, and it could be well about that sort of number again, if not in excess, down there on Thursday night for that protest against the Cronkies. So it's going to have to be very well policed and sort of dealt with in regards to security for Thursday's one now as well. And I'm sure they'll look at that, seeing what's happened there as well. Yes, the last one was peaceful, but things can turn pretty ugly pretty quickly sometimes.
It can, Mac. And Mac, do you feel as if Arsenal and the club and with regards to the security and the local police in London don't see this and act on back of this? Something similar could happen on Thursday with regards to Arsenal fans trying to get into the stadium and protesting there, or do you feel a bit similar to one happened last time, Mike? I just think the protest will go this week.
It's interesting, really. On the back of this one, it's going to have to be, policed very well. There'll be a lot of extra security there, extra stewarding and things like that. But I think that, hopefully Arsenal will continue on in the same vein as before from the previous protest. Won't let this one sort of deter that, so not deter that, won't really let them affect that, I should say, in regards to how they protest. But I think that, as I said, it can turn pretty quickly. It only takes a couple of fans to try and break into the stadium, then others will just follow suit and follow in. So hopefully that's not the case. It's kind of, if you look at the fixture as well, Arsenal against Villarreal is a bit of a strange time to protest. I understand, maybe why fans want to do it on that day, because it's, certainly going to get the attention of the local media, the national media, everybody around the area, as it did beforehand, and maybe to a bigger scale, the fact it's a Europa League semi-final as well. But I think hopefully Arsenal can continue on in the same vein as beforehand and just protest on a peaceful scale rather than the scale that Man United have today.
Yeah, so we're just looking from some of the pictures from earlier on where the barriers and then got into the stadium. We're just looking at those pictures again. They're even playing football on the pitch, and they're probably thinking we've probably scored more goals and spend more minutes on that pitch. Like I said earlier on about Donny van den Beek, spend more time on the pitch than he has. Probably scored more goals on the pitch than a number of the players have this season as well. And then you saw him climbing away and going out of the stadium and now being moved on. We're still waiting for official confirmation.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen.
You're still waiting for official confirmation of when that'll be. If we'll stay till 5, and if we don't get anything by then, I would suggest tuning into local radio where you can hear what's going to be your local radio stations, your TV stations, what's going to be between this this game between Manchester United and Liverpool today. There's also another Premier League game later on this evening as well, and we'll just touch upon these next couple of games. First of all, Jack, I'll come to you in regards to both games. If this game goes ahead today between Manchester United and Liverpool, which is currently delayed, should have been underway about going on 7 minutes or so now. If this game does go ahead today, how do you feel what do you reckon the score will be?
Liverpool really struggle at Old Trafford under Klopp. I was looking at their record; it's not great. And the last few Man United Liverpool games have been beyond boring. So, apart from that one in the FA Cup earlier on. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it was at 1-1, something like that. I just think that both teams, Liverpool this season, I don't know what's happened to them. There's been, we're constantly this thing about, they've had injuries, but it's been more than that. For one, Klopp has just, I don't know, he seems rattled about by everything, and he seems to have lost his composure and his calm, and he's had some, he had his mum died horribly, things like that. So I don't know. I feel he's been off Sadio Mane doesn't even look like the same player. I don't know what's happened with Roberto Firmino. So there's been a lot of things with Liverpool, more than just the injuries. Yes, losing Van Dijk's massive. Yes, losing Joe Gomez is massive, but there's been a combination of factors. Man United, on the other hand, some games look absolutely brilliant. I mean, Thursday absolutely destroyed Roma, 6-2 in the end, that one. But other times they don't really turn up and they play for the conservative result. I don't think they believe they can still win the title, so I wouldn't be surprised with a draw at this one, if it goes ahead.
Yes, and then Mike, how do you see this game going? Man United against Liverpool. Should the game go ahead this afternoon?
Yeah, so I think it could be a really good game, this one. I think both sides are, kind of hit and miss this season. Liverpool, have certainly got enough talent in their ranks to cause Manchester United some problems. Manchester United themselves as well. It depends on how much they put into Thursday night's game. Of course, they did score 6 as well, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they kind of come into this one, whether they going with the same sort of intensity as they did in that game against Liverpool, against Roma, for this game against Liverpool. And I think that the draw will probably be the correct outcome for me as well. I think that's what I was going to go with. So I think, probably a score draw, maybe a 2-2, something like that.
Yes, and then the other game this evening, the other game later on this evening which will definitely probably kick off at 7:15 this evening. That one won't be delayed. It's Tottenham Hotspur against Sheffield United. Sheffield United already relegated, so they've just got pride to play for, try and get off the bottom of the table if they can in the last few matches. Tottenham trying to get that 7th spot to potentially get the European Conference League. Now Man City have won the Europa League. He goes to the 7th place side in the Premier League, like European Conference League. Tottenham going further well, being consistent as well, and very rarely win on a Sunday. They've probably lost about two, probably lost quite a, or probably only won about 1 or 2, maybe 3 games on a Sunday, if my memory serves me correctly. Matches played on a Sunday, that is. Just want to say, first of all, Mike, I'll come to you first. Being Arsenal fan and Arsenal's rivals are Tottenham. I see Tottenham getting on against Sheffield United this evening.
Yeah, I think Tottenham will be far too strong for Sheffield United. They'll win that convincingly for me. They'll win it by a good couple of goals. Of course, they've got Harry Kane back as well and involved, and Son, and Gareth Bale as well potentially. They've certainly got enough to beat Sheffield United for me, and I think they will. I think this could easily be a 4 or 5 goal line, 4 or 5-0 scoreline. Sorry, for Spurs in this one for me.
Yes, and Jack, looking at that game as well, do you agree with Mike? He's going to be a big scoreline for Spurs, or do you feel Sheffield United could get something from this with Spurs not playing well in recent weeks?
Well, Sheffield United won that game against Brighton, didn't they, after they got relegated? It sometimes happens, doesn't it, when teams are relegated? They sometimes pick results up because sort of the pressure's off and the players are trying to play for a move away, I guess. But yeah, I've got to agree with Mike. I can't say anything other than a big Tottenham win. I mean, Kane, Son, etc., they could fill their boots, really. So I'd go 3-0, 3-0 Spurs.
Yeah, so we'll just preview a bit of those games. Man United one, should it go ahead, and the other one, which will be going ahead later on this evening. We'll bring you any news on the kickoff if we get in the next 20 odd so minutes. We'll be leaving the broadcast at 5 o'clock this afternoon.
And what I was going to say as well is, of course, there's action tomorrow on the channel as well. We haven't mentioned what games are taking place yet. There's a double header, I believe.
Yes, there is. I'm going to do that once we wrapped up. I'll bring it on while we're waiting for official confirmation of kickoff time. We'll let you know if we get a kickoff time in the next 20 minutes or so. But tomorrow we have got West Bromwich Albion versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, which I will be presenting once again with Kieran Riley on the mic, and then I'll be swapping my presenting role to being on the mic and commentating on Burnley against West Ham with Matt Isles in the presenter's chair for Burnley against West Ham tomorrow. Then on Tuesday, we've got Manchester City versus PSG in the second leg of the Champions League with Matt Ios alongside Jack Cunningham. So Jack will be back again on Tuesday evening. I'll be presenting that one from probably half time of that game due to other commitments, and want Chelsea take on Real Madrid on Wednesday with Matthias in the commentary seat again. I'll be I'll probably present that game. Maybe do co-com so the presenter might be changed. We'll let you know for definite on Tuesday what's happening.
I
The
think I was
presenter
going to
elsewhere.
present on Wednesday. I think you said you were going to possibly do co-cons on that, so I said I'll present on that one. And then I think on Thursday I'm going to come back in and do the second leg of the Arsenal and Villarreal game as well. So it literally is a full-on week again.
Yes, and then hopefully we'll get some games next weekend on as well. Should hopefully try and get a few games on next weekend as well. The final day of the championship at 12:30. We'll have a look, see if we can cover one of those games for you, depending which game is going to be the bigger one. Down at the bottom, with Derby taking on Sheffield Wednesday in relegation battle. Waltham taking on Cardiff, still involved in that relegation battle as well. The Millers to play Luton on Tuesday evening. A 7:15 is the kick-off time for that one on Tuesday evening. So bring you up to date on the Man City game, how that game gets on, and we'll be looking to fetch you some Premier League action next weekend as well. We'll look at the fixtures and we'll let you know on our social media pages probably next Thursday what games we've got coming up next weekend. There's 4 games next Sunday to choose from, and we'll look at each one of those and let you know which one our team of talented commentators will be bringing to you here on the channel. So we've got some great coverage coming up for that one. So we'll stay with you for another 15 minutes before we leave at 5 o'clock today with regards of our coverage of Newcastle and Arsenal, and any news from the Man United game. When that kicks off, we'll bring it to you if we can before we leave at 5 o'clock. We're looking ahead to the matches tomorrow, which we're covering on the channel, and I'll go with Mike first of all. Mike, West Brom against Wolves and Burnley West Ham. Who do you reckon is going to come out on top in both of those matches?
Oh, so of course the first one's going to be very interesting. West Brom and Wolves, of course, the big derby as well. I think that Wolverhampton Wanderers will come out on top for me. West Brom have had a bit of a struggle really this season overall. Wolves have been a bit hit and miss in patches themselves though as well, but they have put in some really good performances and got some very good results. But I think Wolves will nick it. I'm going to go 2-1 for a victory to Wolves.
Yes, and Jack, those two games tomorrow, how do you see those games going?
So West Brom starting to pick up a bit of form. Obviously, it's way too late for them. No escape for Big Sam this time. Wolves got absolutely 4-0 against Burnley last week. I mean, that must be the worst result under Nuno Espirito Santo, I think. They've had a bad season, Wolves, really, but you could argue maybe they hit their ceiling. I mean, 2 7th place finishes without spending loads of money. How high can they go after that, really? So maybe it's just been a bit of a reset season. Obviously, the Raul Jimenez injury hasn't helped them. West Brom beat them in the other game at Molineux in the Black Country Derby, so Wolves will want to get something. I think it'll be a draw. I think 2-2 draw, because Wolves haven't really been able to defend that well, and West Brom have been scoring some goals lately, so maybe a Pereira-inspired West Brom will get something from the game. But, it's too late for them, and Wolves' season is finished as well. But I think it'll be a 2-2 draw.
Yes, so we'll be with you for another few minutes on this Super Sunday action. We saw Newcastle get beat by 2-0 against Arsenal this afternoon, and some breaking news from the Lowry Hotel where Manchester United team is, and the fans have seemed to have moved from Old Trafford and now protesting outside the ground, outside the hotel rather than the ground now. They're outside the Lowry Hotel, so we're just waiting
I think
see
that
what
what you
happens
can see
there.
what they're trying to do. They're literally just trying to stop the game by any way that they can. Even now they've kind of gone from the stadium. They're trying to stop them leaving the hotel, whatever it may be, just to kind of to kind of stop this game from going ahead. Manchester United fans today, but I'm sure we'll probably get a game at some point, and they'll get moved on. But it's certainly, as I said before, it's certainly going to be a big challenge now for the government and other people that kind of said they're going to come in and get involved. They've got a lot to do on their hands already, but they've got to do it a lot quicker than what they might have wanted to now.
Indeed, man, they've got to do it a lot quicker than what they had to do. I've seen a tweet where a Man United fan says he's absolutely disgusted with what's happening. Even says it's a disgrace. He's a Man United fan. It's a disgrace. And I'm just looking at some videos as well. Stewards at Old Trafford just had a look at the play, frisked. They didn't even say they weren't allowed to go in. They were checking see if they had anything on them, and then walk into the ground this afternoon. And someone, I'm just looking at this video where fans are moving away from Old Trafford. I'll try and get this bit of news, which is actually from a news reporter who's at Old Trafford this afternoon, just outside the ground, see if we can get a line to a reporter for one of the an update on what's been going off. We'll see if we can fetch you that in just a second. Just trying to get that for you. Just if you just give me 1 second and I'll get that up for you guys. Just bear with me a second. And Mike, do you want to just predict the West Ham game against Burnley tomorrow while I just find this news up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think West Ham have been fantastic this season. They've been a breath of fresh air. Real good side. They've put in some really good performances. Some games they've, really got some very good results out of them as well. They have lost their last couple though against Chelsea and against Newcastle as well. But then before that, they got some good victories against Leicester and against Wolves, and of course the draw with Arsenal as well. They beat Spurs. They've done Aston Villa away. They've beaten them this season, so they've done very, very well at West Ham. And I think they'll go on. And I do think they'll beat Burnley tomorrow in that game. Burnley sitting just in 16th as well. If you look at Burnley's last few results, their last one, of course, was the 4-0 over Wolves, and I think that was a bit of a freak result. I don't see them doing it again tomorrow. I'm going to go for a West Ham victory. I think West Ham will nick it probably by 2-1.
Yes, so we've got some news here from someone who's outside Old Trafford. What's been happening today?
I'm here outside Old Trafford where police have just about moved the crowds on. There are still some lingering. We've seen the police forces charge at the front of the crowd and officers with batons moving the crowd back. Earlier in the day there were police inside the stadium trying to catch fans who'd broken in. And of course, the helicopter in the background, police have also sent a drone up. There have been chants of get the Glazers out, and most fans here are quite angry at the club's ownership and the situation which kind of came to a head last week with the European Super League.
So that's just a bit of news of what's been going on at Old Trafford this afternoon. And thank you to Richard Price there, who brought us out there from outside Old Trafford. I've just seen a photo of outside Old Trafford, which he has just tweeted in the last couple of minutes, and you can see no fans now outside this stadium, so we should hopefully get confirmation very, very soon of when this game will now take place this afternoon. Still got the Premier League website up, no statement on there from the Premier League as of yet. Still no news as of yet.
And actually, normally you'd find out via the club's Twitter pages and stuff as well, because of the social media ban. Well, not social media ban, sorry, the social media blackout as well. it kind of leaves everybody in the dark, doesn't it? So
Yeah, that's why I'm having to search on the Premier League website, Sky Sports website, trying to get the news to you as quickly and as possible, checking social media for any updates, like that update there. So I thought I'd just fetch updates in as and when I got it as well on during the commentary this afternoon. So if you listen back, just commentary on what's been happening at Old Trafford there as well. So be interested to see what time this game does go ahead. We'll be wrapping up in 5 minutes time for the action on what has been a fantastic Super Sunday action between Newcastle and Arsenal this afternoon in the Premier League. Just want to say on behalf of myself and everyone else at Football Country Live, thank you very much to Mike and to Jack for the excellent work on commentary today. You both did an excellent job being on the summarising and present and main and the lead commentary this afternoon. And the route from the Lowry Hotel to get to Old Trafford is 13 minutes, and that's where Manchester United are. I'm not sure how long it is for Liverpool ones as well. And so the fans have been moved away now from Old Trafford, gone into the city centre, and it looks as though Manchester United fans now moved away, but they'll probably return after the game's kicked off and not let the players and team leave the ground afterwards, and will try and break in again while the game is ongoing to no doubt invade the pitch and get the game abandoned this
I've
evening
got
when
a
everything
question
kicks off.
for you, Russ, and for you, Jack, as well. Really, who do you reckon is kind of going to be more affected by this? I know Manchester United, of course, being the home side, and it's their fans that are involved. What are the two kind of players? Not two players, sorry, the two managers going to be saying to their players now, like in regards to the delay, and how are they going to keep them focused?
I'll let you go first, Jack, if you want. While
Yep. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I feel that probably because they're protesting outside the Man United hotel, I can't imagine that's helping the Man United players. But I guess Liverpool were fully preparing. Well, it should be about 25 minutes into the game now, so I guess they'd be fully prepared for that. It'd be interesting to see if it does have any, I guess, impact on the game. Because I'm trying to think for the Arsenal game against Everton, would you say that the Arsenal protests had an impact on Arsenal? Because Arsenal were pretty bad against Everton, but I don't know if that was because of the protests or
No,
not.
I don't think it had anything to do with that whatsoever. To be honest, I think it was more. Just Arsenal weren't very good on that day, and sort of, it was games before that with the Fulham game. We were very lucky to get anything out of the Fulham game. It was very similar to that, really, with a very poor performance in that one. We were poor on Thursday night, and there was obviously no protest as well because obviously it was an away game. I think it was just Arsenal were in a bit of slump on form, really, and I don't think the protest really had any impact. I don't understand why really it would either when the players were in early and stuff as well. They literally went in very, very early. They knew that the protest was at 6 and the players were in the ground and sort of in the dressing room and whatever by about 4:30. So
Yeah, fair enough. Well, then I guess it probably won't have that much of an impact. I guess the main thing is actually if the game's going to go ahead today now, because if the Man United players haven't even left the hotel yet and the game's meant to kick off in an hour and a half, I don't really see how that's possible. And then you sort of run out of time to get it done in the day. So I don't know. I wouldn't actually be surprised if it doesn't happen today, and they might end up playing it tomorrow. They're not going to postpone the game or forfeit the game because it's Manchester United against Liverpool, so they're not going to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, as time goes on, I'm not actually sure if this game's going to get played. To be honest, today.
yes, very interesting. And to answer your question, Mike, I think both teams will have prepared very, very well. But I think it'll probably, like Jack said, it'll probably affect Man United more with the fans protesting outside their hotel and not letting the team bus leave. There were a few earlier protesting outside Liverpool team hotel, not letting Liverpool leave their hotel either. They were locked in there. Great Manchester Police patrolling outside there as well, letting them know when they can leave to go to the game. Michael Oliver got sent back, but now he's at the stadium. He'll be keeping people updated from within the club and
And that's what I thought as well. I thought it would definitely impact on Man United a lot more, and I don't understand why they're doing it. When I understand why they're doing it, but I understand why they're doing it today. I should say, when of course, if they don't get the right result, then their Manchester rivals can win the title. So it's just certainly going to be detrimental to their side, and this could certainly maybe gift Manchester City, sorry, I should say, the title today, because Manchester United might not perform or might not be as up for it or as ready for it as they would have been otherwise.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. And I'm just going to be leaving. I'm just going to have a quick one final check on all the social media platforms for any news before we actually leave today. And Jamie Carragher from working, seeing from what I was listening to while you two were talking there, says Liverpool will definitely want the game to go ahead. And Liam Gallagher, he's, as you know, from Oasis and a big Man City fan, he says if the game gets cancelled, you've got to give the 3 points to Liverpool, and then Man City have won the title, because yes, it's not fair on Man United players that they did lose this game 3-0 for what their fans done. But if the pitch is not playable, then they're not going to be playable for
I think
what
he
for
said
next
that more in the
weekend.
fact that he's a Man City fan rather than anything else. But you can understand that as well, because obviously Manchester United being the home side, and it's their fans that are protesting and kind of breaking into the ground. You do understand it, but I think that was largely down to the fact he's just a Manchester City fan and he wants the title done and dusted as quickly as possible.
Yeah, potentially, but you can see why he says that. With you don't know if the game doesn't go ahead, say in the next an hour and a half. Now it's 5 o'clock. Now we'll be leaving in a second. Say if the game doesn't go kick off at 6:30 and doesn't get rescheduled until say tomorrow at 3 o'clock, with it being bank holiday Monday tomorrow and holiday for more people in the UK, do you feel these protests could just happen again tomorrow, Mike, or do you feel they won't happen tomorrow now they've done it today?
Well, that's the issue really. If the game has to be rearranged, it could be Manchester United more come up next time, and it gets worse, and it literally just gets worse and worse with more people getting involved. So that's the possibility, and of course, hopefully that isn't the reality of what actually happens, but. You never know, really. They could take this as potentially sort of a semi-win, really, the Man United fans, and know that if they're going to go on and play the game tomorrow, that if they get more fans down there again and disrupt it even more, then that puts a lot more pressure on their owners to actually sell up.
Absolutely, Mike. And Jack, do you feel if it gets moved to tomorrow there'll be more protests, or do you feel it'll be the end of the protest if it gets moved to tomorrow, mate?
There'll be protests, but the police presence will be a lot stronger and the security presence will be a lot stronger. So they'll be able to keep it under control a lot better, I think. They just obviously weren't prepared for this, and to be fair, no one knew it was going to happen or anything, so obviously they take by surprise. So yeah, I think if it happened tomorrow, yeah, there'll probably still be protests again. There's probably going to be protests from now on, because what the Glazers try to do is essentially ruin football. So, there's going to be protests from now on. So, it's going to be interesting when I get fans back in. I wouldn't be surprised if they're appealing to have fans not in.
Yes, indeed. Just one final check. If just some more news if from the Premier League says kick off delayed at Old Trafford. For those joining us, there's some news to bring you from today's second match between Manchester United and Liverpool, which should have kicked off earlier. He says after security breach Old Trafford, we can confirm the Manchester United Liverpool match will not kick off at 16:30 British summer time. The safety of everyone at Old Trafford is paramount, and at present there is no revised kick-off time. We'll update accordingly. And it says, stay with us on the Premier League website, which is www.premierleague.com. Then if you go to /match week /5697 /blog, you'll be able to get all the latest news on there for the blog, to find out what is going to be happening and when the game between Manchester United and Liverpool will kick off. Or you can tune into your local radio stations, wherever you are, and listen on there, or put your local TV news channels on, and you'll be able to, sports news channels on, and you'll be able to find it on there. But what I'm going to say is, go back to the game earlier. Congratulations to Arsenal, a fantastic win. They won 2-0 against Newcastle earlier. Gabriel was the man of the match, chosen by Mike Harniman.
Absolutely, and El Neni and Aubameyang got the goals as well for Arsenal. So good opportunity for Arsenal to go into Thursday's game with that little bit of confidence, which is needed for the biggest game of the season.
Yes, and don't forget, join myself on tomorrow from 5:45 when I fetch your coverage of Wolverhampton Wanderers against away to West Bromwich Albion, and then I'll be on at 8 o'clock in the commentary I'll see for Burnley's game against West Ham. So, from myself, from Mike, and from Jack, thank you very much for listening to Football Commentary Live. Bit of extended coverage after the Newcastle game. No news on when Man United Liverpool kicks off. Like I said, tune into your local stations and you'll be able to find out on there. But from myself, from Mike, and from Jack, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye for now.